Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Good to see all the Black and Gold family members in the building. Much love and who that to you. Good to see you in the live stream as well. It's another fantastic Wednesday night. It's middle of the week time, man. Good to see the Black and Gold faithful in the building. Much love to you and Yearn on this middle of the week show. Very beautiful day today. I enjoyed the day today. Kind of hot, but that's what's to be expected around this standpoint. But big ups to the family members in the building. Good to see the family. School, who that to you? School first in the building. Much love to my dog, School. Tori Shepard Sr., who that to you? Tori, good to see you in the chat. GM Kev, what up, GM Kev? Good to see you, fam. Who that 504 boy? Who that to your family? Good to see you in the chat as well. What you say there? Hashtag early gang. Who that 504 boy says, anybody here about the report that we about to sign Clowney to a 1-year deal? I was looking that up. I heard something about that as well. I don't think there's any truth to that, but you know, we'll keep researching. Cheryl, who that to you? Cheryl, hashtag weed, who that for life? Cheryl, who that for to you as well? Good to see you in the live chat as well, family. Much love. Crass, what up, Crass? Good to see my dog Crass. 4 in the building. Who that to your family? Good to see you. And who else we got here? Okula McGee. Who that to you, Okula? I see you, family. Good to see you in the stream. Dominic Evans. Who that to you, Dominic? I see you, family. Much love to you as well. Raheem21. Who that to you, Raheem? Good to see you, family. Donovan Grayson. What up, Donovan? Good to see you, family, in the chat as well. G-Ree504. What's up, G-Ree? Good to see you, fam. He says, who that, Big Q? I think with this signing, Easton is gone. No doubt about it in my mind. I thought, it's a few signings signified the end of Nick Easton. When the Saints got rid of Larry Warford, if they needed money, they could have easily just eradicated Nick Easton's deal and freed up $5 or $6 million. Instead, they chose to go at Larry Warford like he was the whole problem of why the Saints was getting bull rush and rush up the center against the Minnesota Vikings. He wasn't the only problem. There were 4 or 5 other guys that didn't bring their games for that, but Larry Warford was the sacrificial goat in that case, and he had to go. That freed up $7-8 million for the Saints. And when that happened, I said, hold on. And I'm pretty good at math. I said, hold on. The guy had been here for 3 years. 3 seasons. He been here for 3 years. 1, 2, 3 Pro Bowls. 3 years, 3 Pro Bowls. You can't ask for a man more than that, but he got the axe. Nick Easton, I knew he would. It was only a matter of time before Nick Easton fell too. When they signed Patrick Omameh, I said, well, he plays guard and tackle. He's a lot cheaper than what they paying Nick Easton. They paying Patrick Omameh in food stamps and canned goods. So I know they'll get rid of this other guy. And then, of course, now they picked up this other guy. We're going to cover that today as well on the live stream. Good to see the family members. Thank you for the question. Who that to your family as well? Let's see. Damn, the screen just jumped when I was a lot of family chiming in. Who that daddy? Who that daddy? Who that to you family? Good to see you to the who that daddy. That's how you say that. Who that? Sean C. Who that to you, Sean? Good to see you in the chat as well. Dada. What up, Dada? Who that to my dog Dada in the building? Jeffrey Dyson. What up, Jeff? How you doing, family? Good to see you in the chat as well. Sean C, my dog Sean C in the building. Thank you, Crash. Appreciate your super chat, my man. Much love to you, and hope you be safe out there in California. Let's see, Tramal. What up, Tramal? Good to see you in the building. Who that to you, Tramal? Pelicans Nola. What up, Pelicans Nola? Who that to you, family? Good to see you in the chat as well. And we got the Pelican postgame report that we also do. We haven't done some shows in a while, but something tell me we're going to be doing some shows coming up here real soon. True Louisiana, who that to you? Much love to you. I see you. Let's see that. Sufayan. I hope I'm saying that right, because that's a very unique name. Sofian. I hope I'm saying that's right, because that's a very nice name there. Who that to you there? Family, appreciate you. Let's see who else we got there. DJ, who that to you? DJ, good to see you in the chat as well. Much love to you, the Saintaholic. What up, Saintaholic? Who that to you, Saintaholic? In the building as well. Good to see you. Dwight Crockett. What up, Dwight? How you doing, fam? Good to see you in the live stream as well. Much love to you and the rest of the beautiful Black and Gold family members. Jasper, I see you, Jasper. Who that to you, Jasper? Appreciate you joining the Patreon Champions family. Much love to you. Let's see who else we got there. Does Kids. Who that to you as well? Much love to you, family. Hendy and Newton, who that to you too, family? Good to see you in the chat. Brant Davis, who that to Brant? He says cut Easton and re-up with Ryan Ramczyk. I like that idea, Brant. Thank you and much love to you, fam. Go Black and Gold, who that to you as well? And to all of the beautiful Black and Gold family members chiming in the live stream. Diehard Saints fan, I see you, family. I almost missed you right there. Good to see you as well in the live chat. And if any family members that's chiming in, give me a who that, and I give you a shout out too. Because remember, this is the Sports Coma, the Great Saint Think Tank. But remember, this show is nothing without you. And I hope most people start to realize that what drive these platforms are the people. It's not about the face here standing up here. I'm just mere moderator here, speaking and bringing the topics. But the soul of the show is based upon the great, intelligent people like yourself and the Great Saints Think Tank, man. So good to see you as well. So much love from Paris. All right, we got a parasite here. Affectionately said it, but a Parisian or whatever you want to call it. But much love to you, my friend. All the way all the way in Paris. I think that's our first people out there from Paris that chimed in. We had a few people chime in from Scotland, Iceland, Australia, Alaska, and all over the country in South America. But much love to all of the family members in the stream. Good to see you so far in there. Much love to you, my friend. Appreciate you, and welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here. Lori, who that to you, Lori? Good to see your family. Lori Hackle in the building. Much love to you, Lori. Dwight says, what do you think the Saints record will be this year without seeing a single snap? Well, I would when we went over the Saints schedule show, you can feel free to go back and up until the show's catalogs and look for the schedule show. Matter of fact, it should be listed if I'm not mistaken. I think they put it underneath the TSC reports. So you can feel free to go in there and take a look. I did make mention that I looked at the schedule, and I feel like the Saints, when we did the schedule show, that the Saints could and should go 13-3 again. I wouldn't be surprised if 14-2, but no less than 12, no worse than 12 wins on the season. This is a very interesting shows, to be honest, schedule. But the Saints, if they're a Super Bowl team like we think they are, they should get through this schedule. And my concerns is not so much on the regular season. I'll say the Saints have got that regular season together. Not disrespecting anybody else's team, but this is a very, very unique year, and that's not just being ironic. It's a unique year, but that's just keeping it real. The reality of the day is that the Saints have Tom Brady to thank for pulling all the pressure off them, because Tom Brady, Gronkowski, and all that stuff going on out there in Tampa Bay, not to mention the Super Bowls in Tampa Bay this year. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I like my thought process, the pressure's not on the Saints to do anything. You have the Super Bowl in Tampa. Tampa has Tom Brady, who they call him the GOAT. He's a damn good quarterback. Pressure's not on Drew. The Saints can sit back and play their brand of football, man, and just let's get to the playoffs and handle business in the playoffs. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, is the fact that can we get it done in the playoffs? Last 3 years of playoff failure has me on alert. Bottom line. Thanks for the question. Who that to the rest of the family? True Louisiana Animal. I seen your family. Good to see you there. Henry Sanchez. Who that to you, Henry? Good to see you in the chat as well. Much love to the Black Gold family members chiming in the building. So today's show's family, just to make mention of it. Oh man, the Saints make some moves today. In just a moment, we're gonna go over it. We're gonna share the screen. We're gonna go over that stuff today. And of course, I'm opening up the phone lines as well, and we're gonna chime in. And of course, I have DC is going to chime in a little later on in the broadcast as well, and gives his thoughts on some of the signings and the things that he sees out there as well. So we're going to keep it moving. So welcome to the Sports Coma, the Great Saints Think Tank. And like I always traditionally and customarily say, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q. This is Sports Coma Live, episode 127 of the live series, show number 528. 127 of the TSC Lives and 528, a totality of over 5 years worth of work. And that's not even including various videos and reports that was done. That's not including the TSC and Q&A lives that we do for Patreon and members of the YouTube family. That don't even include all that content. So man, just hundreds of dozens of shows, just bulked up. Thank you for joining us today in the live stream, and big ups to you. Before I get into some of the topics we're going to talk about today, family, the Saints pick up a new offensive lineman here, and the Saints just keep on assigning. Now, we covered in the TSC Q&A show about Noah Spence and the fact that what happened with him, and they needed a spot to clear somebody. So Noah Spence goes on the NFL inactive list, and they're looking at possibly bringing him back later on in the season. A scenario very similar, eerily similar to Kiko Alonso, who had the same injury. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting deal for two of the Saints defenders who just had this situation. My thing is, I don't want to see this as a pattern. Hopefully this is not a pattern because of the situation that occurred. We have a lot of players training on their own. I hope this is just a trend that stops here. I don't want to see anybody else get any more hurt. And I remember reading a long time ago, and I said this some time ago, about the fact that I remember I had a book by Bruce Lee. And I lost that book when Katrina came, by the way. But I had a book by Bruce Lee. And when he wrote the book while he was himself sitting up in the hospital hurt. And he wrote a book, and it had he had his own little characters of men, and he drew stick figures in the book. And he spoke about in that book about 80%, 70% or greater of injuries that occur to the athlete is because of improper stretching. Muscle tears and the like is done because of improper stretching. And his emphasis was to put time on stretching, because how do you stretch for 15 to 30 minutes and then go out there and try to do 3 or 4 hours worth of work? It don't work like that. You have to stretch your body out and warm your body up to the work and then warm down to it. And Bruce Lee spoke about that. I throw that in there to say, just for the most part, family, is that let's remember that. And then we got Saints fans, players that obviously listen to the show. I've been saying that for years. Good to see some of the family members chiming in, and not just the Cams or the Terrons, but all guys, even the Austin Cars, guys fighting to make the team. We got love for all y'all. So if you're an undrafted guy, feel free to call in. If you're an undrafted guy, give a shout out to the Sports Coma and call on in. We'll talk to you and show you some love, just like we show everybody else some love. So we are smart. We a great Saints think tank that include everybody. But I just don't want to see any more injuries here. Who that to the family? Good to see you, Richard. Richard Good in the building. Richard, who that to you? Good to see your family. Saint Harley says, Big Q, do you think the Saints are going to ink anyone else in free agency? I think so. Saint Harley. Who that to you, Kevin McKnight? Good to see you, fam. I do think so. That they will ink somebody else. The Saints have been inking away. Their pen is loaded. They picked up with this kid Chiquillo. They end up making a few moves. They bring back Patrick Omameh prior to that. Guys like Johnson, Batamosi, and the rest of these guys. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them as they're going to clip, because remember, what's interesting about the Saints signings, and I caution most people who following the Saints here. Who that to you, King Creole the first? Good to see you, fam. I see you. I caution all of the great Saints think tank members to do not undervalue some of the signings that are happening right now. Because remember, guys like Chiquillo, and a lot of people say, well, he's just going to be a special teams guy. I wouldn't be too sure of that. Guys like Mike Malty, guys like the rest of a couple of them slipped my mind. It'll come back to me. So much going on. Marty Frost, who that to you? I answer your question in a minute, fam. But you're absolutely right. I would caution people to not undervalue guys like Chiquillo and the rest of these guys the Saints are picking up. When they signed Omameh, it was for food stamps, canned goods, and a couple of packets of bubble gum. They signed this other guy here. They paid him a little bit more. They actually gave him a few food stamps, canned goods, a couple of tires, and some extra money to buy some smoothies. So obviously we kind of joking about it, but you know what I mean when I make that comparison, is the fact that they're not paying these guys that much money relatively a guy like Nick Easton. And it definitely signifies doom to him. Remember, we had a honorary great Saints think tank member, Bob Rose, that came on, and we love Bob here. He came on here. Much love to the Saints News Network. They're always watching. Big ups to them, the entire team over there. Kyle T. Mosley and the rest of the family. Thank you, Raheem, for becoming a member. Who that to you, family? Thank you. And remember, Bob Rose said that. We asked the question to Bob. We did a show when they signed Omameh. We said as much. Nick Easton in trouble. And it wasn't just because of Omameh in particular. It was because of all these undrafted guys. And we talked about Stecker and the big guy that his name always forgets me. Always forgets it. The big guy. I had to come to me. But you have these guys like these guys around this period of time that are coming, and they're not costing a lot of money. And I think Chiquillo will be an interesting signing, because I really think with his experience, he's a young veteran who's very productive on special teams. And those type of guys that we find, like guys like the Chanelay, who's a special teams guy before the Saints gave him opportunity to stand out. And he wasn't the fastest guy, but he played as hard as he could play. Then you got guys that come on here, like I made mention before, and these guys play their way into a position. I'm not saying he's going to start over Bond, but he is a guy that's experienced and knows what it takes to be in the NFL as opposed to a Bond. But injuries does play a part in this. And there's several other players who have injury histories that's ahead of a guy like Chiquillo or the rest of these guys. Case in point, think about Alex Anzalone, who's had several seasons worth of injuries. He's finally healthy. We'll see. And the exciting yet talented 7th-round draft pick rookie from a season ago, Ellis, he is a guy that's interesting who's coming off injury as well. So you had Craig Robinson, who had bouts of injuries during seasons as well, and he's a little bit older up in there. And then you have Kiko Alonso, who is sitting ahead, who's also injured right now. So if you're a linebacker like a Joe Pesci or the rest of these guys, I would be licking my chops as getting an opportunity to be able to get some starting reps in the system if you're the Saints. But anyway, family, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for that, Raheem, becoming a Pro Star #1 and joining the YouTube members. Thank you, the new YouTube member family. Throckmorton, there you go. See, family members know. Kelvin, I knew his name was Kelvin Throckmorton. See, I need to get these guys' names a little bit down, but I always struggle learning the undrafted guys' names when we first get them on the team. But by training camp, I'm already in there. I got them all together. So I remember Steckler. Kelvin Throckmorton is a guy. I did the same thing with Bob Rose. Say, Bob, is that the same guy that had played all 5 positions in college? He said, yeah, that's him. Played tackle, guard, and center. Guys like that. And plus, when I researched these guys, the undrafted offensive linemen, by the way, I'm speaking about, they played several positions. You had guys that played tackle and guard. Then Throckmorton played tackle, guard, and center. And we ain't talking about some guy on the back of the bench. These guys came with actual accolades. These guys were actually guys that were second team this or second team that, or, they just fell through the cracks. Thank you, King Creole, for becoming a member as well. Much love to you, King Creole. And Henry Sanchez. I see you, Henry. Thank you, Raheem, Henry Sanchez, and King Creole the first. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for becoming Pro Star members as well. Thank y'all, family. Much love to you. Now, thank you, Kevin, for hitting the like button, family. That's right. Sufayan says Peyton loves versatility, and our Paris Saints fan, honorary great Saints think tank member I'm in agreement with him. I'm in agreement with them over there because that's what it is. Now, family, what we're going to talk about on today's show, family, in just a moment, I shall share my screen with you, and we'll talk about the signing of this newest man who was on our thumbnail. His name's James Hurst. Now, pretty much, what does it mean? Now, we can't say James Hurst. James Hurst played in a lot of games. This is an interesting signing. It's reported a 1-year deal. It's not going to cost a lot of money. But what it does show me is the fact that the Saints are really serious about fixing that offensive line and the depth behind it. The several undrafted guys, they bringing back guys like Omar May. Hurst has an opportunity to stick and stay with the team. You still have a guys, Cameron Thomas back, who I really like. Will Clapp, I like him because he's the LSU guy. He's there as well. Superstar Louisiana boy, who that to you? Good to see your family. Much love to you. And I like what the Saints are doing in terms of fixing and strengthening that offensive line, because not only are the Saints getting younger, but notice that they're getting faster. I ain't going to say stronger because I think they're strong there anyway, but they're getting youth there and they're getting a lot faster. That Ruiz kid is absolutely insane. Thank you, Scoop. Nate Stupar is another one that we made mention of. When you talk about a guy like Chiquillo, Anthony Chiquillo, who comes over from the Steelers, the Saints inked him last week. You kind of think about guys like Mike Malty, like Nate Stupar and the rest. You think about guys like that earn their way up from the special teams into a starting position. Chiquillo has experience, and he has the propensity to play 2 different things. If you watch him play, I don't know if you watch him play, but he plays like a guy with his hair on fire. He's exciting. He has a high motor, high energy guy, and I like that. And I think that those type of guys on the team keep the energy level up, because we got guys like Cam George the same way. High energy guys, high character guys, hard working guys that want to bring the pain. I love that. I think the defense can never have too many of those guys. Of course, we have guys a little bit more somber, laid back like Davenport, but every now and again I like to see Davenport get bucked and make things happen as well. Verily, who that to you? Say that's 100% true. Have told athletes I've coached to extend their careers, do yoga and deep stretching to increase soft tissue and ligament damage. You can't pull, stretch, or rip something that's loose. That is correct. Thank you, Verlin. Much love to you, Verlin. Verlin, I didn't know you was a professional trainer, brother. We got some talent. See, I'd say we got some talented people in the Great Saint Think Tank. But it just reminded me of like when I had to go back to that, because I remember when I was playing football, when I was in high school playing football, and one year, you play college football, baseball, and basketball. and you was constantly moving, and you had to stretch. You couldn't get out there and run cold. You would tear something up. You know, it's like how we don't know that when it's cold outside, you don't just jump in your damn car and go. Don't you turn your car on or start it with the key and let it sit there for a minute, let it rev up? That's the same thing concept-wise with the human body. Matter of fact, a lot of the original automakers said that the idea of the car came from by way of the engine of the car came by way of the human body, because a lot of stuff mimics the workings of human organs. But anyway, I ain't gonna get into all that. Saints Hall said, Big Q, if you could sign any linebacker that is still available in free agency, who would it be? Linebacker? I would say Clay. I like Clay Matthews. I would say Clay Matthews, Saintaholic. I like Clay Matthews. Either Marcus Golden. Either one of them, I'm good with them. If I had the money to, I will light it up. I'll go after Everson Griffin, because Everson Griffin would answer every problem or anything left over that the Saints have on defense. Everson Griffin would answer it. But since you said linebacker, Clay Matthews, to me, I love him because he's a little older, but Clay's intelligent. And then you're not going to ask him to do all the other kind of stuff there. And it kind of remind me, if you have Clay Matthews and Alex Anzalone playing next to each other, imagine how awesome that would be to see Alex Anzalone and Clay Matthews and DeMario Davis playing together. That would be so awesome. Then you can line Clay up on the line and let him do his thing as well. So it would be interesting and awesome to have Clay Matthews and Alex Anzalone together. That's just my thought process. Thank you for the question, Saintaholic. 985J, good to see your family. Who that to 985J in the building? Crash says Ogletree. I like the Ogletree comment as well. Sufian says, I think Peyton looking for linebackers with high IQ and can read plays, and that's why he picked Bond. I love Bond. I love Bond. I think Bond's awesome. He gonna learn how to play that role where he have to cover them linebackers. He had the speed, but the Saints like his pass rush ability. Very sneaky, good pass rusher. We'll see if the Saints can utilize him in that position. So that's another thing, but we also know about these guys. But family, let me start. I'm gonna share my screen with the family members, and we're gonna fire it up first and talk about some of these topics. Starting off is the Saints agree to terms with offensive lineman James Hurst. It's from an NFL writer. And just when you thought the wire was going down, the Saints then pick it up and make something excellent happen here. Now, they said that he won't be available for the first month of 2020 season, but he still found employment. He says Hurst has agreed to a one-year deal with the Saints. His agent tweeted Hurst, who has made 44 starts in his career at a number of positions. In December, Baltimore's depth chart essentially listed Hurst as a backup at both tackle positions and right guard. That's just the versatility that Sufian was talking about. That is what we all make mention of. He was relied upon 6 seasons to fill unsuspected needs, rising from an undrafted free agent to a reliable sixth blocker. Also received his fair share of chances to earn a permanent starting job in recent seasons. He's a do-it-all type of guy, bottom line. And the Saints have several of those type of such players on his team that can play multiple positions. Hurst has 44 starts, has that experience to come off the bench and either tackle or guard. So no doubt about it, this spells doom for Nick Eason. Baltimore released Hurst in March following the news of the 4-game suspension for violating the league's policy of performance-enhancing substance. The team used the draft to address its interior depth needs and resigned veteran tackle Andre Smith to fill that void. Using numbers to replace a veteran could be counted on to step up a time of need as a true swing lineman. That's a perfect term for him, because I was thinking that early on when I was first introduced to Hurst, because I was aware of Hurst. And I said, man, that guy was all over the offensive line. And the term swing offensive lineman is perfect for this guy. He could play all over the place. And might I add that, the substance abuse, the last two players, both Anthony Chiquillo and now James Hurst, those guys did have some off-field issues. This here, the suspension of 4 games in March, for Hurst, and then of course a domestic dispute with Chiquillo that was settled, and he was cleared of. Now Hurst could serve as insurance for the Saints team that released guard Larry Warford before he began his contract season. This release came as a result of the Saints drafting center or guard Center Ruiz, who will be expected to start from day one. In the event Ruiz struggles, Hurst can fill in reliably after he serves his suspension. Hurst can also provide depth at tackle, where the Saints have been forced in 2017, 2018 to spend time with the reliable Teron Armstead, who hasn't played a full season in his career. I don't know if that's true or not, but I remember we did go back several seasons and found that he did play a full season, 2 of them, I believe, from Teron Armstead in his career. So I don't know how accurate that is. But I remember we did do a show on that. So that's a part of it. Hurst has that game suspension that we have to monitor, but be that as it may, this definitely speaks higher volumes to the fact that Nick Eason is definitely on his way out. No doubt about it. We talked about it when they brought Patrick Omameh in. We also made mention of the fact that they did this now, and $5 million, $5 million. And most of these guys like Chiquillo and Omameh and now Hurst, these guys are not going to be making a lot of money. So no doubt about it. Expect that release to happen in the next several days from the New Orleans Saints as they free up more money. Perhaps it's to give it to Ramczyk, perhaps to give it to Kamara, perhaps to bring in a veteran. Who knows? But I just love how the free agency is going right now for the Saints, to be honest with you, man, because they keep coming up with stuff for us to talk about. All right, let's go to our next story here. And we talk about the Saints, they are grateful. Now, Chiquillo is grateful for the fresh start and the winning organization. And Chiquillo, of course, like we talked about, Nate Stupar, Mike Malty, Scott Chanley, and I'm pretty sure you guys come up with more linebackers that come off the special team looking for opportunity to play more. Now, Chiquillo, who was mostly a special team guy, signed a 1-year contract with the Saints. Noah Spence gets hurt, and that frees an opening for him to get on the team. I still say that with this signing now, the team has to have a corresponding move to put Hurst on the team. Because the 90 was refilled once Chiquillo was signed, they will have to have a corresponding move to add Hurst to the team. So that's the second layer of that story we just got to keep an eye out on. Now, if you look at Chiquillo, just a little extra information, that he's eager to get back to what he considers roots as a football player, which is hoping to land with a team that allow him to put his hand in the dirt, meaning he wants to act like a pass rusher, which I think the Saints will do. They're going to look at that because there's several other scenarios. It's not a first song. It's not a soft science on a Saints situational pass rush position. In my opinion, Trey Hendrickson has been inconsistent. He's been hurt. Carl Granderson is a question mark. Noah Spence was a question mark. Now he's hurt. Then you got Nick. Then you bring in Zach Bourne, who we know he can do it in college, but can it translate to the pros? Question mark. Now you got Chiquillo there. So I like the options the Saints have in terms of bringing these guys in, and let's not forget about Marcus Hunt, who can play inside and out. He's another guy that could be added to the pass rush mix. Now, Chiquillo says, I always like rushing with my hand down better than out of 2-point stance. It's going to be a lot of fun. He was originally a 6th-round pick out of the Steelers, out of the draft with the Steelers in 2015. He signed a 2-year, $8 million contract with them last May, but was released in March to save $5 million in cap space. Same way the Saints going to do Nick Eason. Now, he spent the most of his season on the commissioner's exempt list. After, we just talked about that, the simple assault, harassment, and criminal mischief charges connected to his alleged dispute with his then girlfriend. And those were subsequently dropped, and Chiquillo then returned to play the final 8 games of the season. That his name was connected to off-field issues made challenging off-season, but the Saints looked past that. And the Saints have been doing that a lot lately. Remember last year they did it with Carl Granderson, who was accused of rape. They still kept Carl Granderson, hit him, and then he was absolved of those issues. And the Saints they looked like geniuses adding Granderson. Now this season, we have Chiquillo. Hopefully we can have more of an impact from him. If you watch the tape on him, he's a high motor guy that knows how to play football, and he might just be looking for an opportunity to land somewhere. So that's a portion of it. Also, let me open up the draft. I'm going to show you guys some of this from the draft perspective. Now, this is the defensive depth chart list as put by lineups.com. I use this often because it kind of gives you a good indicator of what the defense of the team look like. Now, we're going to talk about and compare Chiquillo and these guys here, and then we're going to go and look at Hurst and what position he plays in offensive line. Now, if you look at the defensive depth chart here, the Saints based out of a 4-3, this is what this is based upon. And you look behind what Trey Hendrickson is lined up behind Davenport on the right end position. Noah Spence is there, and you might as well take him out of there. Well, if you look at Chiquillo has not been added to this depth chart yet, but you can place him in the outside linebacker position. It'll be in conflict, or not conflict, but in competition with guys. I would say guys maybe like Alonzo and the lights, and we'll see. But if he can get an opportunity to play at one of the defensive ends, like mentioned, behind Cam, you see Carl Granderson there and Gus Cumberlander, the big 6'7", 258-pounder, the undrafted guy, is very interesting. Look at the other side with the right ends. Hendrickson's there. Spence is out. So you can see Chiquillo getting a little burn there. But the Saints see him mostly as a linebacker who has a propensity to do it, to kind of put his hand in the dirt. We'll love to see that. He's 6'3", 45 pounds, 240, something like that. Love his high motor. Look at the Saints interior line, which is the strength of the team, in my opinion, the defensive interior. Onyema, Rankins, Brown, Shai Tuttle. You look at Taylor Stallworth and the lights. And then you add Marcus Hunt in there, who could be used as an end. Mario Edwards Jr. could also be used at an end. And I was watching some footage on Jalen Dalton, 6'6", 300 pounds. That guy there, I'm watching him. He is very interesting. Big offensive interior lineman. It might be a numbers game for him. Might end up on the practice squad. But I was watching some footage of him. Very interesting. And you can see that's what the Saints interior defensive line, and possibly where you can see a Chiquillo lining up at either left end or right end, wherever Sean Payton needs him, because I think that's probably where his value is outside of special teams. Now we move over up here to the O-line position, as you can see, offensive line position. And you talk about a guy that like Hurst that was brung on to the team, and the fact that he plays all over the place. You look at the Saints optic right now. Teron Armstead's there, Will Clapp, Darren Paulo, the undrafted guy, left guard position. Pete's there, Derek Kelly, who's been on the team. Derek Kelly II, who's been on the team. Nobody really talks about him. Or Ethan Greenwich, who was on the team the entire season last year. He was the most unknown Saint. Nobody talked about Ethan Greenwich. He was on the damn roster the entire year last year and was surprised. I was surprised he made the team, but he did. But you have Nick Easton, who is lined up at center position, and you look at Cameron Tom and the rest of those guys, and then Patrick Omame, Terrence McGee from LSU, he's there as well. So you add Hurst to that, either at tackle or guard. There's no reason why you should keep Nick Easton, because truth be told, Cameron Todd could slide over the center to replace Nick Easton. And by adding Hurst, you can put him at the right guard, left guard, tackle, wherever you need him to be, and you can easily replace Nick Easton. $5 million goddamn dollars a season, and they knee jerked on Nick Easton. I said it when they signed him right after Max Unger retired. He didn't retire. He retired right there and kind of left the Saints scrambling to find somebody to fill his position. And ultimately, that's what they did. They brought in Nick Easton for $5 million and for a lot of money. And people's like, where does he play? Then when the draft came along a little while later, the Saints traded 2 picks to move up to take McCoy in the second round. And then he became the automatic starter, and he never left. He never lost position of it, forcing Nick Easton, a $5 million man, to the bench. There is absolutely no way that he will be able to stick and stay there, because remember, we were on Patrick Robertson with making all that money. $5 million is the highest paid dime back in the league. He got his contract get cut in half, and then Nick Easton's sitting up there as a big $5 million albatross. I hear you out there about knowing that his time has come. There's no doubt about it, man. If Omame didn't wake you up, if this Hurst signing didn't wake you up, and then the fact that Larry Warford was released after 3 seasons with the Saints, 3 Pro Bowl seasons, to free up $8 million, you got a guy making $5 million, while most of them guys on the bench getting paid food stamps and old Reeboks. I mean, come on, man. Ain't no way in the world that I don't think for 1 second that won't fly as well. So we're just gonna keep it going like that as well. So I know that's some of the things we talked about, family, as well. And it's very interesting to talk about that. Who that to you, one crazy? Who that? Good to see you in the chat as well. And the rest of the family chiming in. Caution, good to see you, Caution. Much love to you as well. And the rest of the great Saints Think chiming in. Please hit the like button. Now, family, and we're gonna get to the point where I'm gonna play Anthony Chiquillo's interview for you. I'm gonna spin this interview and let you hear what Chiquillo's thoughts was. Because Chiquillo, man, a lot of people think he's a low-key signing. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think Anthony Chiquillo is gonna be similar to a Nate Stupar and a Mike Malty, and guys that work their way up from the special teams in limited capacity with the other team to a starring role with the team. The linebacker position has been ate up by injuries. If you're a linebacker with no injury history and you have an opportunity to actually rush the passer, and you're a high motor guy like Shaquille, who's in a very physical defense with, like Pittsburgh was, there's no reason for me not to think that Shaquille wouldn't be able to step up. But let me play some of what Shaquille's interview here so you guys can hear what his thoughts on with signing the Saints. Here's Anthony Shaquille.
Address or just start off by what do you want me to say?
Let's just start off with why you wanted to come to New Orleans. Then we'll go from there.
Obviously, it was a great opportunity for me to come to New Orleans. Couldn't have asked for a better organization with a better head coach, better team, better quarterback, and I'm just really excited to get to New Orleans and get to work.
What specifically kind of stood out about the organization? Was it like the success they've had recently, or was there anybody on the staff you wanted to work with specifically?
It's a winning organization. I wanted to be a part of a winning organization, and I was lucky to be in Pittsburgh the past 5 years. And I feel like I'm coming from a winning culture, so I feel like I'm going to fit in well with the locker room. And it'll be different playing in a 4-3. In Pittsburgh, I got used to the 3-4, but in college, I played with my hand down in a lot of different positions. So I'm excited, and I think I'll be a good fit for the team.
Anthony, you've also been a core special teamer. How do you feel like you'll contribute on the special teams, and do you know a lot about the special teams units?
Oh, for sure. Really, really lucky to have been with Danny Smith, my special team coach the past 5 years in Pittsburgh. Just taught me the ins and outs of special teams, and I feel like I'm going to be able to take that knowledge that I learned there and bring it to New Orleans.
Do you have any idea specifically how they'll use you on defense?
I'm not entirely sure, but I know I'm putting my hand back down. So in Pittsburgh, we were in a 2-point stance, running the 3-4. But still on some passing situation, I was able to put my hand down. So it's not like I haven't done it the past 5 years.
Is that something that kind of intrigues you? Is that something you're looking for in your next stop?
For sure. I've always liked rushing with my hand down better than out of a 2-point. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Anthony, how much of a learning curve do you think it'll be just to sort of reacclimate yourself to play in that position in that sort of way?
I think it'll be, like I said, in Pittsburgh, I was rushing out of a 3-point stance, really whenever we ran our nickel package. So I got to do it a whole bunch. And when we played, I was in the preseason, I was rushing out of a 3-point stance in the Superdome, and when we played in the regular season, I was rushing out of a 3-point stance. So I'm sure the coaches saw me that I was able to do that.
That's Anthony Shaquille right there, fabulous. He talking about rushing out 3-point stances and the like. And all that I can tell you about is I watched Shaquille play. I watched some footage on him. A lot of people look at these guys that come along a little late and say, well, man, just a camp body. At the linebacker position with all of the injuries that we were looking at for a while, man, please. I'm telling you, this kid has that opportunity to climb his way up, especially if you're a linebacker, a free agent linebacker. He knows the history of the guys that come to the Saints and then climb up the chain in terms of playing at the linebacker position. And it just so happens the guy has some pass rush potential who wants to put his hands in the dirt and rush. I love it. That could mean that it's not exactly appeasing like it is to me to have Everson Griffin here. It's not that appeasing to have Everson Griffin. But the reality at the end of the day is I still like the move because I like how this kid played. And I think that the Saints defense, led by defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, could take advantage of this kid's talents and allow him to rush, because we damn sure need to have that edge, to have somebody that can participate in that form of faction. To be honest with you, I'm just keeping it real with you. So much love to the family members for chiming in. Larry Franco, who that to you from Bakersfield? All right, Larry, good to see you, family. Who that to you? Larry Franco from Bakersfield, California. All right, good to see you, fam. Who that to you? As well, who else we got chiming in late? JT, what up, JT? Who that to you, fam? He said, hey, Big Q, prayers for the family and all race. Thank you, that family. Much love to you. Who that to you, and the same to you, family. Good to see you in the chat as well. Solo the Pro Cut King, who that to you as well. Good to see you in the stream. And yeah, I forgot about Malcolm Roach. That update, that list show didn't have Malcolm Roach on it, did it? It didn't have Roach on there. But that's how deep the Saints are in there. Let me get back to that. Let me put that list back up there. Because, man, that's how really deep this team is if you take a look at it. Because you're really supposed to have Malcolm Roach up there somewhere. He's supposed to be up here with the rest of the big old DTs. Man, look at the defensive line, the interior line. Rankins, Onyemata, Brown, Shai Tuttle. Those a few. Taylor Stalwart's awesome. You got Mario Edwards and Margus Hunt, who's added to the bunch. Then you got a big Malcolm Roach sitting up in there somewhere. So man, that's why I was saying the interior of the defensive line for the Saints are absolutely insane. It's insane, man. I mean, seriously, it is absolutely insane that the Saints offensive lineman the interior line is that damn deep. Oh, man. But it is what it is, man. But I hope Malcolm Roach does make the team. He has a relationship with Malcolm Brown. I mean, they're both big guys from Texas, so he can definitely take them under his wing. But, man, I would love to see it. So that's what I'm saying. That he's another guy that you can use as an edge rusher, too. He's extremely athletic. Guy was playing linebacker. 6'3", 6'2", 300-pound guy playing linebacker. How athletic is this? And we don't take none of that for granted when you got guys like a Zion Williamson, who by all accounts should be a defensive lineman in today's league, or a pass rusher, a big pass rusher, playing football and dunking on people's heads. It's absolutely amazing. It's another kid I seen online. He's a 300-pound point guard in college. Got the handle, shooting threes. I'm like, man, it doesn't make no difference what size you are. If you could play the game, you could play the game. And we have some athletic guys that should bring it. Ramsey, good to see you there as well. Kevin says, keep him on DJ Swearinger. He's hungry. That's true. DJ Swearinger is another guy that I was interested. I really like the fact that they brought him in, because if you go back and watch Swearinger from past seasons, he was always a guy that made the interceptions. He made the hits. He played with ferocity. But for whatever reason, whether it was injury or off-field type stuff, he was never able to stick and stay with different teams. And he played everywhere. Washington, with the Raiders, a bunch of teams. It's good to see the Saints seem value to bring him back, because I like Swearinger, another veteran back there behind Jenkins. You can't do no wrong with that. So who that to you? Hey, 19642, who that to you? Who that to you too, my brother? Good to see you in the chat as well. Brad Hoover, what up, Brad? How you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat. Who that to you? Good to see you in the chat as well. Please hit the like button, family. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, as we will move ahead with the thing. All right, I see. I was just reading the comment there. But yeah, family, that's some of the stuff that we got today. Who that nation? Who that to you? Who that nation? Good to see you, family, in the chat as well. Much love to you. Solo says his attitude, he don't like losing. I think a lot of the stuff, the Saints still have hungry players. And it's like, okay, they dominated the regular season over the last several years. What's left for the Saints to do? Plenty. If you can dominate the regular season, let's see what you can do in the playoff season, the postseason. Let's see what you can handle in the playoffs. Because that's the issue, in my opinion, of the Saints. And listen, the answer to that is you have players who have a wealth and a depth of playoff experience that help in that situation. We're thinking about Malcolm Jenkins in the playoffs. Remember, if you watch him in the playoff Malcolm Jenkins is another player. He's intelligent. He knows where to line up at. And he's impactful. And Philly had a talented team when he was there. I don't know if they're as talented as what the Saints defense is with all those weapons. We got Marshawn Lattimore over there still proving himself to the NFL. Janoris Jenkins, who's been read up on a multiple deal. He's ready to step his game up because, see, Jenkins been on a losing team, and I'm talking about Janoris. He's ready to step up and get some of that playoff. He got a taste of that playoff game last year in Minnesota. It's time for the Saints. If you look at that depth that DJ Swearinger and Malcolm Jenkins bring for the playoff times, that stuff, that is very, very, very serious to remember. That's why guys like Jenkins are here. Say, well, Q, the defense was messed up. But seriously, let me pose the question to the great Saints think tank. Ernest Turner, who that to you? Good to see you, Ernest, in the chat. James Van Court, good to see you, James. Who that to you? Charles Mayfield, good to see you, Charles. Who that to you? But let me ask the question to the great Saints think tank. Please feel free to comment and let me know how you guys feel about this. If you had Malcolm Jenkins as a safety instead of Von Bell last year, do the Saints beat the Minnesota Vikings? We know one player doesn't exactly change it. Well, Taysom Hill almost changed it, to be honest with you. If he had some more opportunities, maybe if you took Drought, put him in there, you might have changed it. He was already marching before the turnover by Drew. But what do you guys think about this? Do Malcolm Jenkins help? Do you win if Malcolm Jenkins is back there versus when Von Bell is back there? And granted, Von Bell was just coming back after missing 4 games. You put him cold as a flounder in there. And I was like, no, please don't do that. Because both Von Bell and Marcus Williams were out multiple games, several games they were out. And PJ Williams was playing there, back there with, who was the other guy? It wasn't Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, was it? Y'all remind me, I forget. But the reality at the end of the day is that if Jenkins is back there, chances are the Saints win that game because of what he brings in the playoffs. He's a big time playoff player. Janoris Jenkins got a little taste of it, but those are high production value veterans that's playing back there. And we needed that experience in the back end of the defense, to be honest with you. And now to help them out, you have to be able to get to that quarterback. You got to put pressure on the quarterback, and not only put pressure on the quarterback, but actually make the pressure amount to sacks. Sacks and turnovers is what we need from the defense this year. If we want to see the Saints in the Super Bowl game, the defense sacks have to step up. No doubt about it. Who that to you, family? I see you. Javier, who that to you? Randy McGovern, who that to you? Randy says, I want to see Davenport play a full season. I agree with you, Randy. I hope so too, man. 2 seasons worth of injuries, cutting it short is very frustrating. And then the mere fact that we couldn't even produce a decent pass rush without Davenport or Cam. And then last year when Cam was out there, he didn't do it because it turns out he was hurt. So that's why I'm pushing for to have guys like if you're serious about this here thing, if you're really serious about it, we have to get guys that are proven to know what they're doing, that can go out there and make it happen. Demetric Holmes, who that to you? Ernest Turner, who that to you? Revolt Control, who that to you? Good to see you in the chat as well. Thank you, who that? Nation, much love to you, fam. Raheem says, yes, why? Because Jenkins is a leader who wouldn't allow Lattimore to trip on the sideline. He's excellent at covering running backs out of the backfield and tight ends, plus great out open field tackler. He is. And plus, going away to Philadelphia cultivated his mentality because he was always savvy, but he knows where to be. He knows where to be on the field, and he processes the game extremely fast. And that's something that we can't overlook. The processing factor, they call it football IQ. I call it regular high. If you have a high football IQ, chances are you got a high life IQ. So, I just love what he brings, not just the veteran, but also it's the mentorship program as well. To be able to mentor Marcus Williams, the mentor Saquon Hampton, the mentor JT Gray, the mentor Jefferson Batamosi, the mentor these younger defensive backs, Justin Hardy and the rest of them who are on the team that need that. So it's good to see that. So I agree with you, Raheem 21. Yeah, Sufyan says, right, experience in the playoffs is utmost. Yeah, it is utmost important. Okay. And that's a part of it, man. So that's my question is, if he was there, do the Saints win the game against the Minnesota Vikings? And I would definitely agree with you, family. I would say that it is. Solo the Pro Cut King says facts. Jenkins makes plays. He does make plays, and that's the deal. But we still at the juncture where I like the moves. I like Chiquillo coming in here. You know, they re-up with Noah Spence. He gets hurt. Question mark. You got Granderson there. Question mark. Chiquillo. He's put his hands in the dirt, but that don't mean success. Zach Bourne is there, who hadn't played in this league at this level. We don't know how he's going to turn out. Might take a while to get going. So then Trey Hendrickson in his final season, you know, can he stay healthy? There's Marcus Hunt, who's more of an interior guy, but they say they can use him there as well. Do we have a pass rusher by committee approach? Is that feasible? I don't know if I like that. I guess I don't have any goddamn choice, right? I gotta rock with it. But my thing is, hey, if you get rid of Larry Warford and you're paying these guys food stamps and trash bags, then what's the deal? Why not take the $7-8 million you're gonna get from that guy? Because you ain't paying these other guys diddly squat. And the $5 million you're gonna get from getting rid of Nick Easton's ass because it's coming, and put that together, and possibly we could think about Alvin Kamara, or you could solve the position the right way and stop bargain shopping. Is this bargain shopping? Is this bargain shopping what we're doing? You know, do we need to bargain shop to get the wide receiver compliment for Michael Thomas? No. You paid him $16 million for 2 seasons, and he meaning Emmanuel Sanders. You didn't bargain shop for that guy. So you can't obviously, so to a degree, they do recognize the fact that behind Davenport and Cam, there's no pass rush. They do recognize that by the mere fact that they bring all of these guys in here that do it. So instead of paying Griffin or paying Golden, we're just going to do it by committee. That means that if one guy goes down, we cycle the next. But none of these guys have an extended amount of experience at that position that you want to rely on in crucial situations. So we just hope it kind of works the way it is. And we don't know down the future. We don't know exactly how it's going to end. Going down the future, they could very well tip their hat and go after one of those guys. They could very well do it. Anything's possible with New Orleans Saints. It's whether or not they see it as an important need, because obviously they see it as a need because they're throwing all these low cost options at it, is what I'm saying. Thank you. Ramsey says, I think if Malcolm Jenkins was here last year in Minnesota game, he would have recognized that route Adam Thielen ran for the score. Thank you, Ramsey. He would have definitely recognized it and probably would have put on Marcus Dapp, told him to get back or whatever. You see what I'm saying? When you are an intelligent veteran like that, you're paying for his mentorship and his ability to process data on the football field fast. He knows this system. And it's a really interesting signing. Malcolm didn't want to go anywhere anyway. He never wanted to leave New Orleans. It was Sean Payton saying, we're going to let him go. Then bringing in people, they never was able to replace him. So they went back to him after he had all the great experience and a Super Bowl ring with Philadelphia. So it's just glad to see him back here, man. Jamal says Marcus Williams stay getting Jordan posterized that everyone remembers. I think a lot of stuff that ties to the Saints secondary, because we could put a lot of emphasis on the Saints secondary, the addition of Malcolm Jenkins and Swearinger. I love it. The re-upping with Janoris Jenkins. I love it. I love it. The Malcolm Jenkins. I love all that. The issue is still we have to get the pass. We got to get to the quarterback. We cannot get around that. And I mean that, literally and figuratively, we have to be able to get around there. I'm not confident in Davenport. I'm not. And Cam, as great as he is, he's 30 years old now. And we start seeing you going down like this. We've seen other veterans survive it, but Cam is doubled and triple teamed because other guys can't beat their blocks. You can't have that. You can't have that. If you single covered and your name is Marcus Davenport, you got to beat the hell out of that guy, man. Because 9 times out of 10, your guy is the second best tackle on the team. Cam usually has the other guy, and it would be nice to see the Saints use that J.J. Watt type of deal where they then move and cycle Cam all throughout the line to create mismatches. If Cam's your best defender, don't have him lining up over the same guy all the time. Cycle him around, put him over here on top of. That's how J.J. Watt was able to accrue so many sacks. He's terrific, But he was able to accrue so many sacks because the defense knows how to put him in opportunistic situations. We need to do the same thing with our personnel, especially on the defensive line. Let's cycle those guys around and move them around so they can make stuff happen. Okay, thank you for that, fam. I see you there. Jeff Dice says, hey, Q, I think quietly Mickey and Sean Payton are working on one of the big name guys. I think they're trying to get them to lower their asking prices. Could be. That could very well be, Jeff, because if you think about it, why are you needing to free up all this money so late? Because you freed up $8 million from Larry Warford, and now you're signing a bargain basement offensive lineman. No disrespect, but you know how much you're getting paid compared to the rest of them guys. And you're bringing these guys in here, and you're saying, you know what? We get up 8 from him and 5 from Nick Easton. There's no way with Hurst on the team and Omar May and all these other guys. There is no way the Saints keep Nick Easton, going into the season. $5 million and no way. No, absolutely no way. You would do better just to release him, get rid of him, and take the money and go ahead and do it. But I would absolutely love that because I know the Great Saints think tank. We've been pushing that thought out there. We've contacted them on the E. We've been pushing the union between Everson Griffin and Sean Payton, and this shouldn't be such a mutant or a strange thought to the Saints, being that Griffin is always kicking your ass every time he plays. Everson Griffin comes out and he plays hard every time he plays the Saints. And if it's one guy I want to talk about that you know you have an opportunity to get it, because damn well won't be Danielle Hunter. That's Danielle Hunter is basically a Ultra Instinct version of Davenport to my Dragon Ball people. But I think that would be an awesome move, whether it's Marcus Golden or Everson Griffin. Griffin is not asking for a lot of money, and you free up that money, get him here for a one year proof deal, plug him on the opposite side of Cam Jordan, and watch how they roll. Watch how they roll. Give Jordan a perfect. He would absolutely love playing next to Everson Griffin. He would love it because Griffin and him, their games, they are two high energy guys. They're both crazy. You know, Cam a little thrown off. You know, Griff a little thrown off. But if you have those guys playing and then Davenport coming off the bench, are you kidding me? Imagine what your NASCAR package looked like then. Just imagine that. So I agree. Hopefully that's the case, Jeff. We'll be looking out for that. I would love to see that. And it does make sense. Why are you freeing up all this money unless you're trying to make something shake with Kamara or what have you? But the Saints have not been proactive in trying to sign Kamara. They haven't even made mention of it. You know, they said he's still under contract and they expect him to honor his contract. And plus the agents hadn't said anything yet. And we was expecting him to say something, but maybe he's waiting. You know, you had all the stuff that was going on with the pandemic. And now that that's kind of clearing the way, you might start seeing where is the agent at, you know, because usually that's something the agent would say. JT says Q will be the first to say this. Remember, he said, I will be the first to say this. Remember, family, Carl Granderson will be our defensive end opposite of Cam Jordan before the season is over. Well, that wouldn't surprise me if they don't go get a veteran, because that means that Davenport probably will be hurt again in that scenario. Right, JT? That means Davenport. So Carl Granderson could very well be, because that's just history repeating itself. If that's the case, as you foresee Davenport not completing his 3rd season. Glenn, who that to you? Glenn, good to see you. He said, I heard a rumor about Clowney. Same rumor that's out there. You know, but imagine if the Saints could. We're looking at what beats Everson Griffin would be Jadeveon Clowney. Why? Because nobody sees that happening. Do we? Do we, family? Who sees that happening? Nobody sees Saints in the Jadeveon Clowney signing. Nobody sees that. Why? Because he wants 18, 15 million, whatever it is. But what if he says, man, that's the Saints. Man, if y'all give me 10 here and 10 on this or that and the third, sign a 1 year prove it deal, then that would be special. But that would not surprise me, based on if the Saints are serious enough this year about a Super Bowl. They have Tom Brady there. If the Saints ink Jadeveon Clowney, that to me is, even so I love Everson Griffin. I think Everson Griffin would be the perfect complement. Jadeveon Clowney would be special, because it would be super sweet to get him, simply because of the fact that nobody's seen it happening. because nobody thought it would happen based upon his money demands and the fact that the Saints wasn't going to spend that. But a union between them would be special, man. So hopefully with that rumor, there's smoke, there's fire with that, because there's several times that's been mentioned and I've heard about it as well. But we discount it because of the money, because of the demands from Clowney and the Saints' current economic situation. But $18 million from Warford plus these low bottom contracts and the fact that they threw up $5 million from Easton, when that finally happens, watch out. We'll keep an eye out from it, because at this point in time, I'm not squashing anything right now, because the Saints are obviously freeing up money for whatever reason. They don't need to free. What you need to free up money for? Free agency is damn near over with. What you freeing up money for? What you trying to do? Oh, you trying to get Kamara? Well, they'd been did that if that was the case. They could have been inked them. They got them under contract, and they extended the contracts of Ramczyk and Lattimore, so they got them under for the 5 years. So they're not looking at reeing up with those guys right now. I think the Saints are in a win now mode right now. They're in a win now mode, but they would eventually retain Kamara and Ramczyk and Lattimore. Those are the 3 big deals that you could see coming in the future. But look out for the loss of the guys like Demario Davis. Unless he takes a cut in the pay to stay here, we could end up losing guys like that. But like I said, this is the point of time where I'm not going to diffuse or put any damn thing down, because you never know. They're obviously freeing up money for some reason, and we'll see eventually. All right, thank you for that, Glenn. Crest says, I had high hopes for Bird. Dude was a ball hawk for the Bills, came to New stayed hurt, and was a dud. Yeah, Jarvis Bird, it was just bad. It's a bad move. Solo the Pro Cut King says Bird was the worst thing that happened to after the bomb. Yeah, he just couldn't get right. The guy, that's who he is, the guy from life, can't get right. Who that data says, I don't trust Davenport at all. I'm with you on that. Family. Ain't no reason to trust him. There ain't no reason to trust him. That's like trusting people that spy on you all the time or listen to your conversation when they're not supposed to. That's like trusting people that lie to you all the time on the television when you know you're not supposed to be trusting them, because they're known liars. You don't believe known liars. That's commonsensical. People always trying to get you to say, trust me. People always saying we're the number one trusted source of news. You don't have to say that. I say if you're trusted or not. And the mere fact that you're saying that means that you can't be trusted. You don't have to emphasize trust. Just emphasize the fact that you do your goddamn job well. Anyway, I ain't gonna get to the spill about it, but let's keep it moving. Scoop says, I only mentioned Jarvis when Q said Jenkins left and we couldn't find somebody. Joe Gidry. What up, Joe? Who that to you? Goku, who that? Oh, Joe Gidry, who that to you, family? Good to see you there. Kevin says, I'm not sure why they haven't gone after Griffin. Maybe they know something we don't, Q. I hear you, fam. We'll see. But it's also the conversation that he wanted to wait to meet teams. So, I mean, it's not like the Saints are not in his league. The Saints that is actually monetarily speaking, and the fact that they know who he is, because he always kicking their ass. In the playoff game, it was him sacking Drew Brees and causing havoc on the Saints. And it's Sean Payton always remember players that do stuff like that. Griffin's always been that guy. When he played, you had problems. They always had problems. We had Teron Armstead matched up with Griffin, and he would give Teron fits, and Teron's a great offensive lineman. He's awesome. But he would give him fits. And I'm like, man, anybody give Teron Armstead fits and Ryan Ramczyk fits, you got to look at him. Then he was giving fits to your Pro Bowl interior lineman. You got to look at him, man, because it's that history there. You see what I'm saying? And what the irony is this? What big punch in the face to the Minnesota Purple People Eaters if you were able to get him from them, bring him here, and then he utilizes him to tear their ass up when you play them again in the postseason and the regular season next year. That's the thing you need to do. Unlike what we did with Latavius Murray, when you had an opportunity to run him in the Minnesota game and you kept him on the bench. You give him limited amount of snaps when he was ready to rip him out, to run over him, to tear him down. You'd have to lasso him with 100 lassos or 100 ropes to tie him down so he don't tear them up. But you got a coach that don't want to run. But that's my thing about Griffin. I reached out to him on social media. The bug is out there. Sooner or later, something's going to take flight. If it's Jadeveon Clowney, I love it. If it's Griffin, I love it. Even if it's Marcus Golden or Clay Matthews, I love it. But let it be somebody with a history. Not no 3 or 4, 5 or sacks here, 10 sacks in 5 years or 4 years. Not nothing like that. I'm talking somebody that can actually be serious, some guy that you could take serious at the position. I'm saying a guy like that who knows how to get to the quarterback without you have to tell him anything. He already knows how to get there. He don't need you to tell him nothing. He knows already how to get there. That's what I'm looking for. And there's a premium on guys like that. And it's really a positive that you see so many of those guys out there right now. It's several of them right now on the free agency that are extreme, that you can get them for a bargain basement price compared to what they're made, or compared to what they're capable of getting in any regular market. You can get a class defensive pass rusher right now, without having to develop the guy into something or deal with question marks here and there. You know, they're available right now. So that's my thought process in the whole mixture, is that you got to get the guys. And if you're serious about winning and you're serious about making things shake, you got to solve the pass rushing position by getting a good veteran and making it happen. Bottom line, you want to see the best of Cam Jordan? You know what you do? You put somebody like Griffin next to him, or Golden or Clay Matthews to him, and watch what the hell happen. Cam will be revigorated because he don't have to worry about double and triple team blocks. You know, it's just, and with that, and listen, think about it too. On Yamada interior, the interior lineman puts so much pressure on the interior defensive lineman for the Saints, put so much pressure on the interior of the opposite's offensive line. They really do, because Onyemata is always back there. He usually misses the guy by microseconds. You got Malcolm Jenkins. It takes 2 guys every trip to try to block Malcolm Jenkins. That's how strong of a good player he is. So is Onyemata, so is Sheldon Rankins, so is Shai Tuttle, so is Taylor Stallworth, and Malcolm Roach too. He's going to be that same way. So if that's the case, interiorly speaking, we need to have the edge rushers to do it. So you getting push up the center and push around the side means that there's no place for Tom Brady to hire. No place. He can't run already. You get pressure up the center without even blitzing linebackers or safeties. That's the goal. The goal is to make the defensive playbook super easy, where you can then rush and provide pressure with your front 4 while dropping everybody else in coverage. That is the perfect mindset of the defense. If you can create pass rush with the front 4 and everybody else get back in coverage, that also helps your secondary. But you got to have a fire ass 4 to do that. I'm telling you. In many parts of the season last year, that's what the Vikings did your ass. That's why Drew ain't have too many places to go with that ball. They got pressure with their front 4 on you and dropped everybody else in coverage. And when 4 beats 5, you got a problem. And that's what we need to do. Who that nation? I don't understand why I haven't heard any rumors with the Saints and Zig Ansah. They did that last year. Zig Ansah wasn't healthy, but he ultimately, I think he signed with Seattle. He did all right with him. I think the Saints are looking past Zig Ansah right now. I would love to have seen him. They talked to him last year. Nothing happened from it. It was too bad. I don't think he passed the physical or whatnot, but we'll see. Uncle Paul, it says, yeah, Clowney. Who that to you, Paul? He says, yeah, Clowney and Onyemata would be like Dan Hampton and Steve McMichaels of the old. Yeah, that's absolutely insane, because you wouldn't need Clowney. Clowney coming off the edge can get to the quarterback off his athleticism. He's gotten better over the years. And that's the thing. And think about it like this too, family. If the Saints do get Clowney, this is just speculative, but if the Saints do get Clowney, Davenport is his backup. So you could fire Clowney in there, and then a healthy and revigorated Davenport can then get an opportunity to play at that situational pass rusher, which is where he's supposed to be at anyway, in my opinion. That's what I say. I think they put him out there a little too early. Charles says Clowney or Griffin is over Super Bowl lock. I'm telling you, one player gets it done. If you get Griffin and teaming with Cam and the rest of that Saints, man, that's a wrap. Do you not understand that, Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis? Do y'all guys not understand? And we got players and team. We got special strength coaches and assistant coaches that listen to this show. We know. So carry the word back to Coach Payton, or whoever you got to carry it to, and tell them that if you want a Super Bowl, go get Davenport some help. Get Griffin. Get Golden. And if you can, if they're talking to getting Jadeveon Clowney, that's absolutely insane. I love it. Scoop says, let's see, Clowney had 3 sacks last season. Pump your brakes. Scoop saying pump your brakes. He had 3 sacks last year, Scoop, but do you really think for a second that if you put Clowney on the Saints defensive line, this is just speculation now, but you can't rule out anything, to be honest with you, the way they operate. But if you have Clowney, and I'm talking the whole great Saints think tank, even though I'm directing this at Scoop, Clowney on the Saints defense, the Saints defensive line now, with the same person, David Onyemata, Sheldon Rankins, all Malcolm Brown as the interior guys on the defensive line, and Cam on the outside, do you really expect him to get 3 sacks the entire summation of 2020 and 2021? Absolutely not. He's going to be single blocked a lot. And the Saints won't overuse him because you have Davenport, a guy you can situational move around up in there. So it's a lot of great stuff going on, family. So let's get the call. We got the call. I got 10 call lines open. What's going on, family? Thank you for calling the show. This is Brother Paul.
What's going on, Big Q?
What's going on there, Brother Paul? How you doing, man?
Oh man, you already on fire. I'm finna throw some gas on you in a good way.
Come on now.
Man, I mean, you know, in conversation and things, of course, you know, you got me. But yeah, man, that man, you know, I know some of the Saints Nation and family might not want it, but man, look, hey, Clown and Griffith, I mean, who's? I mean, you got to give Cam Jordan some help, Q.
I know.
I mean, like I said, I appreciate, you and the family, and I thank y'all for letting me be a historian, and that's why I'm finna say this. That's what happened to Coach Mora with the Dome Patrol, Q. Didn't get no young guys to help them old guys out, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the guys' play started declining. They didn't have nobody else. Who was you going to put in there to take Sam Mills' place? Ron Johnson, Pat Swilling, Ricky Jackson. You didn't have nobody else.
No, you sure didn't. That's true.
The Turbo turned in about maybe 2 productive years?
Ronaldo Turnbull?
His rookie year got what, 10, 12 sacks his rookie year?
And I think the second year he did pretty good. He had a Pro Bowl, had a couple of Pro Bowl years in there, yeah. Ronaldo Turnbull.
One Pro Bowl.
Was it one? That was that Richard year, wasn't it? When he got the sacks.
And after that, although it took a musician or the voodoo priestess or somebody to get Owner Benson, to grant him that $4-5 million contract. Tom Benson wasn't trying to do that.
Well, Turnbull, we like you said, to your point, Turnbull was doing all that because he was working opposite of Ricky Jackson. I mean, Pat Swilling. And when Pat Swilling got up out of there and they started to double down on Turnbull, Turnbull couldn't beat it. The thing about Swilling and the rest of those guys and Ricky Jackson, those guys were fantastic pass rushers because they had the ability to beat the double.
You better tell it, Q.
That's a skill.
Man,
go ahead, Brother Paul.
I'd love to see Ricky Jackson come off there, him and Pat Swilling every game. Say, hey, we're going to meet you at the quarterback. I don't know if you remember it, but some of the old station highlights I got saved on my phone, and I looked there, they was talking to Pat Swilling. How everything? I said, wait a minute. Don't worry about that. Ain't going to go well. Me and Ricky, we're going to be all over damn Reno today, and that's exactly what they did. Man, I used to love to see that, Q.
I know it was fun, too. I know that was it was awesome, man. But that's a part of it, though. That's why I say I appreciate the fact that you bring the historical edge to it because it's good to point out because you don't want to completing and going back into the same loops and cycles again.
That's what I'm talking about, Q. I've been watching this a long time, and the Saints have a habit of getting stuck in a rut and going in that rat race of keep recapitulating the past.
Yes.
Man, that's just something they got to stop. And you know what, Q? The dome would get crazy seeing Ricky and Pat Swilling get on his quarterback head just as it was with Bobby throwing a touchdown to Eric Martin. Just the same.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they would go crazy, Q. You couldn't hear up in there. A lot of times, Ricky and Pat and Vaughn and Sam Mills got to the quarterback, because the tackle or the tight end or the running back who was supposed to block him couldn't hear the snap count.
Right.
Couldn't hear it.
Yep.
A lot of times, they turn around, Ricky and them already got to say, like, what happened?
Yep.
What? And the old opposing coaches would just have fits. Man, why you didn't block? I couldn't hear the count, coach.
Right.
Cussing and spewing it.
Yep. I remember that watching, what was that, some time ago, a long while ago, about a quarterback. I forgot which quarterback it was. He turned to his coach. I think the Saints sacked the quarterback, kept sacking. So he went to the coach, said, "What's going on?" What the hell he said? He said he looked at the head coach, said, "I can't hear.
Can't hear.
I can't hear a damn thing." He told him that's how loud and ruckus the dome was getting. But yeah, that defense, though, to your point, that's true. It's something about when the defense is sacking and the defense is going crazy. It just wakes up everything and levels. It just levels above everything else. It's just when that defense is on point and the crowd is fired up off of the turnovers from the defense, the sacks of defense, it just steals the heart away from the opposing team.
Oh, yeah. And then you get Toy Cook, Britt Baxter, they go picking off passes. Oh, man, it was like you drinking a good thing of lemonade on a hot day, Q.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Man, we used to love that. But like I said, the Saints did replace them. Didn't get nobody younger that they could groom, to bring up. And then, like I said, when the game disappeared, and we can't forget about Wayne, Frank Warren, and Jim Wilkes.
Yep.
And Wayne Martin and them, they wrecked it too, man. Shoot.
Yeah, Wayne Martin was absolutely. Wayne Martin is one of those guys most people don't even talk about. The Wayne Martin was our, I won't call him John Randall, but he was a defensive end at first who was just absolutely just a terrific player. And then later on in his years, he switched to defensive tackle and was impactful too. But he was always a ferocious, steady defensive end. He was strong, he was smart, and he was consistent. He was always there. And I love Wade Martin.
Look, I lie to you that I'm looking at some old Saints cards right now. I got Robert Massey, I got Jim Wilkes, I got Stan Brock, Buford Jordan, Eric Martin, Dalton Heed, Craig Hayward, Porky, Dombrowski. I mean, I got him, Q.
Yep.
That's Swilling.
That's the best of the bunch there.
Even Robert Massey was better than the Williams brother.
Yep.
At least he would tackle.
That Massey was number 40, wasn't he? 40, right?
Number 40. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Q. He was 5'10", 192 pounds.
I thought he was bigger than that.
But
that's crazy. He was 5'10".
Yeah.
I thought Massey was 6 feet. Oh, see, that just goes. People taller than your child.
5'10", 195 pounds. You mean tell me PJ and Marcus can't hit nobody? Come on, man.
Well, I wouldn't have drafted Marcus Williams. We talked about that, and every so often we go into the scouting reports and read the scouting reports on some of these players that are struggling. And the scouting report was basically they called him a finesse forward. I never heard that referred to a finesse safety. I never heard that referred to a football player before. That was a new one. And then also they said that he gets they didn't want to say he was a soft safety. That's what it was. And then the fact that he gets the worst of the hits. We read that on the show and had a few good laughs. So every now and again we go back and look at those reports to see if these guys actually did do better than what they were supposed to. And it just goes to show you that Marcus Williams this last year, he has Malcolm Jenkins. There's no excuses. He's not hurt. He has Malcolm Jenkins as a mentor. You should see the very best version of Marcus Williams this year, and no bull crap craziness that we've seen over the last 3 years, like the Minnesota Miracle when he was a rookie. I wrote that one off, and then he comes back here with the face mask on Kittles in the game. So I mean, in the regular season game against San Francisco, which the Saints lost their handle on the first round ranking. So I mean, Malcolm Jenkins will help get Marcus Williams together, and I'm looking forward to seeing the best version. This guy is 4 years in the league, 4-year veteran, and he's coming up on the final year of his contract. Malcolm Jenkins is your mentor. This is a loaded team where all you have to do is get one very specialized pass rusher for next to nothing, whether it's Golden, Jenkins, Matthews, or Jadeveon Clowney, whoever it is, and put them next to the same. See, people don't discount the fact that the Saints defense, man, when you're playing next to Cam Jordan, David Onyemata, Sheldon Rankins, and all these other great defensive linemen there, they're having fun, they balling. And if you on the opposite side of Cam and Cam putting the pressure on, a lot of times with all that, you're going to see a lot of single coverage. You're going to see a lot of, because Malcolm Brown, there's only 5 of them for you. And if you're rushing with 4 to get pressure on the quarterback, somebody got to suck up the double team. Well, either one of the interior defensive linemen could suck up the double team, whether it's Malcolm Brown. You're not guarding Malcolm Brown with one offensive lineman. It takes 2 dudes to block him. And David Onyemata or Sheldon Rankins, you're not going to single block those guys. So you're going to have to do something, whether it's slide tight ends in there to kind of chip, or running backs to chip block them or what have you. But there'll be some guy that's going to get multiple opportunities to have single protection on that opposite side. Whoever that may be, they're going to ball out. So if you have a stacked line like that, why not then fortify with somebody like who I mentioned before? That is the one thing that we mentioned that could take you over the bunch. That way you don't have the scenario like we had last year when one guy goes down or two guys go down, we in trouble.
That's true. You know, even though I could stand Carl Smith's, offense, I thought it stink to high heaven. But you know what? Even the Saints had enough sense to put Craig Haywood in there, Dalton Hilliard, Buford Jordan, rotate them.
Right.
You got to hit the defense with something different doing it's a 3-hour game, baby. You got to do something. What you think?
I agree. I think that, like, we go back to the San Francisco 49ers method of running the ball last year during the season. They were running and hitting you with 3 different styles of running, and defenses couldn't lock onto it. They could not. They couldn't. They were effective. They would hit you with Tevin Coleman. They would hit you with Mostert, the big guy. They would hit you with the other guy who they traded to the Miami Dolphins. They traded him out, got a draft pick, and they still have a guy, the scat back that used to play for the 49ers is still there, McKinnon. So they still have 3 really impactful running backs that they could cycle around and use. And I'm saying that's the same thing the Saints could borrow from the 49ers. If this is a copycat league and you're dealing with the 49ers and they're running the ball using 3 styles of runners like the 49ers do, would be a very good use of the Saints using it. Because they usually keep 3 or 4 running backs. What's the purpose of keeping all those running backs if you're not going to play them? You got 2 running backs. You're going to work Alvin Kamara to death in 17-18 season regular season. I mean, what's the point of that? Cycling Davenport. And I knew they featured Kamara last year. I don't think you should feature him. I think you should mix them up. He should get more snaps than everybody. But you got to be able to incorporate an impactful Latavius Murray there, because there'll be some games where where Murray will work better than a Kamara. And that's not saying not to use Kamara, but it's saying some of those games you'll have an opportunity to use the dive play with Latavius Murray when he can get that 5 or 6, 7 yards with guys dragging on him, and then still have Kamara out there lined up in the slot catching balls like a wide receiver. You can still use those backs at the same time, the same place, even if you got Kamara as a wide receiver and Latavius Murray as a running back. We got to start using our collective offensive imaginations here to be able to do more eventful things, more creative and impactful ways to employ these offensive weapons, because this offense the Saints have this year is one of the most physically and one of the most gifted offenses that I've ever seen the Saints have. You have Michael Thomas, who just come up off the single season wide receiver record last year. He's out there. You got Emmanuel Sanders, the perfect complement. Guy can play inside or outside. You can shift them all around the field and what have you. You have guys running around like Jared Cook out there who's totally healthy. You have Josh Hill, who the Saints can operate with the 3 tight end package, like I always talk about. The Saints 3 tight end package is a very big package, because the Saints used that package in the red zone a lot back in the day when they had 3 tight ends, and it worked for them. Then they can run out of it. You can catch out of it.
You had John Tice, Wayne Wright. You had Farquhar, you had all kind of big boys up there.
But even up until to the current teams, when the Saints had when they had Josh Hill, and Benjamin out there, they were running 3 tight end packages with just those guys, and they were catching touchdowns and running the ball out of it too. You got Adam and Troutman thrown into it, and you can split out guys like Jared Cook, who don't have to line up next to the line of scrimmage. You can split them out and line them up like a wide receiver. You got Troutman that you could do that too, where the Saints are really big on Troutman. Expect to see Adam Troutman doing that. And then you got wide receiver weapons like Deontay Harris, who the Saints will get on the field and with his speed packages as well. Then not to mention Kamara, Latavius Murray, and then Ty Montgomery, who's barring injury, Ty Montgomery will make this team. I'm going to just say that. That's not a secret. Ty Montgomery will make this team.
Where he want to go next, Q. I think Ray Washington going to be hitting the streets somewhere, because I can't see Montgomery not making his team.
Right, absolutely not. Ty Montgomery, and that's what I was telling people when the broadcast opened about. Don't take lightly the guys the Saints are signing right now. In the second tier free agents after the draft, Ty Montgomery, Anthony Chiquillo, Hurst that the Saints just picked up on with Hurst. Don't take these guys lightly because they didn't pick them up in the start of free agency. These guys have a role here, and the roles could be very big. Hurst can play multiple positions on both sides of the offensive line. He coming in super cheap. He got more experience than the undrafted guys. He has a layer over them already, because the coach values experience above anything. So he come in and on top of the veterans from the get-go. So that's something you have to look at. Plus, he got a real friendly contract. Then you look at Chiquillo. Chiquillo's a guy coming in off a super cheap contract who fits the mold of some of the linebackers I made mention that worked themselves up from the special teams into the starting lineup. Then you talk about Ty Montgomery, who's a guy that could play running back or line up like a wide receiver and guess what? He's an excellent blocker too. Watch him block. And he can line up in the slot to help you out as well. He makes the tough catches, and he can also help on the kick return, punt return aspect of it. So like I said, the Saints are loaded with the top level talent and the depth talent offensively and defensively. The cherry on top of the proverbial ice cream, the Saints ice cream, would be if they were to add a guy like Everson Griffin, or if we fortunate enough to get a Jadeveon Clowney. I would like that too. And I would know that I would almost bet you that he would get more than 3. If he's healthy and he's available for all those games, all the regular season games, on the Saints defensive line, Jadeveon Clowney will get you a lot more than 3 sacks like he did for Seattle. I'm telling you, it's a total different scenario, total different
team. I believe it, Tim. I really believe it. And, you know, when was the last time the Saints had a number 1 defense? When the last time that happened, Q?
Oh my goodness, a number 1
you
overall
can look it up
defense.
whenever you get a chance. You know,
it's been a while.
To know that.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I don't know.
You've been in the top 5.
You've been in the top 5 overall, but there's not. I don't remember in a long time the Saints was a number 1 overall defense. But it could be this year if you can get some more pieces fixed.
That's true. But a lot of people forget, man. The Dole Patrol, the whole linebacking crew went to the Pro Bowl one year. People forget that, Q.
I remember that.
Was the last one of them went.
Yeah, that's all of them went, and that just goes to show you how impactful that the team is, how the Saints are built. Cam Jordan's there. You need the perfect complement. Right. Griffin is there. 1-year contract, proven contract, $10 million, whatever it is. Get him. Bottom line, get the goddamn man. If you want to win a Super Bowl and you're serious about kicking teams' butts and getting to guys like Teddy Bridgewater, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, you would get Everson Griffin. I don't need to. I don't need to show you what Griffin could do for you. You've seen it. He was tearing you up in the playoffs last year. If you want a recent affair, but like I said, we'll see exactly how it's gonna shake, man. But I'm excited about the Saints' offense and the defense this year. To mean that you're that close from a personnel standpoint, from having the necessary thing to make the jump. Go ahead, brother Paul.
But you know what, Q? Hey, man, I've enjoyed your fire. I'm just feeding off of it, man. I'm like a moth to a flame right now. While you were talking, I was just thinking, man, you know, the problem ain't me, it ain't you, it ain't the Saint Nation, it ain't the family. It's Sean Payton. He's the problem. He called the stuff that he called 20 years ago, man. When are you going to evolve? I mean, Q, I'm just sitting here thinking while you was talking, you know, it's 3rd and 9. Okay. Got to throw. All you got to do, bring Taysom Hill out there, the young kid Stevens, line him up at quarterback, snap the ball, give it to Taysom Hill, flea flicker, baby, give it back to Stevens, throw it deep. To Emmanuel Sanders, touchdown. See, I can imagine it. How come he can't figure something like that out, Q? Go ahead.
I think he can. I think a lot of times, you know, when you right up on the picture, sometimes that's why the offseason is good, but you can kind of get away. You can look at tape. You can have discussions on what happened. And like when the season started, I think they're right in it. And you don't have the opportunities that much to kind of step away to resync or to see a new perspective. And I think some of the coaches and the players and the coaches at their own high, they have the ability to be able to kind of, you know, to remove themselves from the picture and take that overall perspective, you know, of what's going on here as a head coach, to be able to see all aspects of your team. I think that's a very good skill to have, and only the best of the coaches have that. If you take a look at one of my team, my college team, LSU, and Coach Orgeron, he spoke about his transition from Coach O of the Mississippi State, the Ole Miss Rebels, which he was the coach of many years ago, and he stunk up there. He was terrible up there. But when he became, later on in life, he became more and wise, he realized how to then trust the people that he himself placed around him and allowed him the ability to do their job. And not only did they grow and become great, then he became great as well as a manager of people. And I think that's a part of it as well, is that you have to know how to not only manage them, but be able to put your players in positions where they can have their most maximum ability to have the most impactful moments. And I think a portion of that is stepping back and realizing that. And I'm saying not Coach Payton doesn't have that, because he's one of the most imaginative offensive minds out there. I think it's more of a discipline thing, understanding when to stick to something to balance it despite it. You know how you might be rolling with it, but keeping the mentality to, regardless of whatever else, to really attempt to really make 100% attempt to stay balanced. And that's what it is. And that works in football, that works in life, that works whatever. You got to have the proper balance. And I think that speaks to his offensive mindset, in my opinion, more so to his discipline, and to be able to keep it, because that's what it is, to be able to stay disciplined, to make sure you call a balanced game. And I think that's helped. Because also helping the defense out would be too, eating up the clock, letting the air out the ball, and let the defense rest so they can be more impactful. I think that's part of it. Not throwing the ball 3 times and going 3 out and go sit down, put the defense back out there and come back and do it again. No, that's not helping you. Running an imbalance, and you're hurting your team by allowing that to happen. So we got to be able to run the ball, take air out the ball, and kind of eat up that clock to kind of give our defenses chance to rush. And not only that, but to keep their offense off the field so they can't build a rhythm. That's a portion of the game as well. So, I mean, that's a portion of it. But give me a second right quick there, Brother Paul. Hold your thought. Let me give a few shout-outs to a few family members in the building. Ramsey, who that to you? I see you in the chat is round. Ernest, big ups to you. As I said, I think I gave them a shout-out. Who else we see? I see some new people, more people in the chat here. I want to give them a shout-out. I think Joe Gidra, I gave Joe a shout-out. Who else we got here? Jay Huntsberry. What up, Jay? Who that to Jay Huntsberry? Good to see you in the chat. Much love to you, Jay Huntsberry. Bishop One Love. Who that to you? Bishop One Love. Good to see you in the chat as well. Much love to you. And if we got family members that's in the stream that are not subscribers, hit the subscribe button and join the Great Saints Think Tank family. Stunner, TBOTB, who that to your family? I see you there, Stunner. Much love to you. Good to see you in the chat family as well. Who else we got there chiming in? I think that's everybody. Trey Joseph, what up, Trey? Good to see Trey in the building as well. And Michael Carter, who that to you? Michael says, I love Davenport's game. When he got hurt, the edge was not set. That's right. Thank you for that comment, Michael. Who that to you as well? Ryan Farrell, what up, Ryan? Good to see you there. Who that to your family? I see you. Clint, what up, Clint? Clint F in the building. Much love to you, Clint. I see your family as well. And who that? Oh, wow. Debo, what up, Debo? Just when I was saying that, just jumped on me. Demi, good to see you, Demi. Who that to you? Oh, Henry, what up, Henry? I get to see you in the chat as well, family. Much love to you as well. And let's see what else we got here. And I think that's everybody. Much love to. Nope. Smokeless YT. Who that to you? Smokeless. Good to see you, family. Much love to you. Antoinette. Good to see you. Antoinette. Going on, Antoinette in the building. Who that to you, baby? I see you, Antoinette. Who that? All right, Paul, go ahead, my friend. I gotta give a shout out to the Great Saints Think Tank family.
Hey, man, Q, it would be you if you didn't do that, man. I really appreciate that, man. I just, I wish you had Stephen Smith's money, Mr. Ever Exceeding Hairline, but that's a conversation for another time.
Thank you, Larry. Larry Franco's just subscribed. Who that to Larry Franco? He just subscribed. Who that to you, Larry? Thank you, family. Kevin, what up, Kevin? Kevin Conley, what up, Kevin? Who that to you, Kevin? I see your family. Go ahead, Brother Paul.
Oh, yeah, Q, like I said, I'm just sitting there, you got to Sean Payton and Pete Carmichael are really going to have to sit out and rework the game plan, offensive plays especially. You're going to have to probably, Drew, getting up and getting long in the tooth. You're going to have to look at having more of a ball control offense. I know people hate to want to see that because the Saints, offense has always been hot on fire, but you may have to go back to some of them more ways, ball control, keeping the enemy defense, on the field, and the enemy offense off the field. You're just going to have to change some things. And I'm noticing, just like you noticed, all these new linemen on the offense and whatnot, they're really gearing up to have to run the ball, and they're showing they're going to run it. But, he made us that promise last year when he got on Latavius Murray, we're going to run, and we saw what happened. It's just You know, and then with Tom Brady and Teddy Bridgewater over there, it's just that itching now. He just, you know, something got that pass happy itch that he just got to scratch. You know, but you can't put Drew in those situations where he get blitzed, get hit, get knocked around. He just can't be able to take that wear and tear. Q, what you think?
You're right. He's not 40 plus years old quarterback starting for our opposition and for ourselves.
That's unheard of.
That's unoriginal.
Like the bird,
that really is. That's absolutely insane to have two 40-year-old quarterbacks playing in the same division, and they're considered Super Bowl contenders with those guys at the helm. That is absolutely insane. That's number one, because I don't think that's ever been done. And go back into your great football minds, Brother Paul, and the rest of the family members, and think for a second. When was the last time you ever seen two 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks who were actually Super Bowl contenders? That is absolutely amazing. That's number one. And of course, our quarterbacks a lot more more mobile than their quarterback, and Drew just getting slower and slower, like his shoes getting heavier and heavier. But we have to be able to protect him, and I think that's one of the things that Sean Payton did. He's bringing Ruiz in here, and I love Cesar Ruiz. I think if you watch his film footage, watch Ruiz's footage and see what I'm talking about. Very mean. Very mean.
Pro Bowl.
Very mean. Very mean. I keep saying LaCharles Bentley. Y'all gonna see after a while in a couple of years. They'll say Q did say LaCharles Bentley. Watch and see. Is that dude? Now you got McCoy. That McCoy will translate into a very good guard. I'm telling you, Pro Bowl level guard. So I like those two guys there in the interior of the Saints line to protect Drew and to run the ball. And running the ball,
you can't pass that up, Q.
You gotta run. Crazy. You gotta run, because if it comes down to it, number one, he's 41 years old, or whatever it is, and then you have to be able to protect him by running the football, getting the ball out of it. And remember, Drew Brees doesn't take a lot of punishment, because Drew has a clock in his head, and 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, the ball's gone. So Drew gets rid of the ball fast. He makes decisions very fast, and that's why Drew knows where he's going with the ball the majority of the time before he snapped the ball. He get around there, take a look at the offense, see which positions he like. When the ball is snapped, if he don't like what he want, he audible. And that's what I'm saying. Utilizing the run better to help out 40 quarterback. That's when bad things happen. Right.
Those people.
Right. Yeah. Drew has, but that's on Drew though. Drew has to be, if he don't see anything, he has to throw the ball into the ground near wide receiver or throw it out of bounds. He cannot sit there and take sacks. That he's not Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater take a sack, he don't turn the ball over. But Drew Brees with them hands, Drew, he gets popped and the ball comes out. He cannot hold the ball, and as long as you protect him, give him a running game, and you got Emmanuel Sanders and all those weapons that I threw in at the higher level, Mike and Emmanuel, Jared Cook, Josh Hill, Adam Troutman, Kamara out the backfield. Even Latavius can catch the ball for you. And then you throw in there Ty Montgomery, because I say Ty will make the team as long as he's healthy. That is a lot of weapons. And then Deontay Harris when you need him. And we forgot, I ain't even mentioned Taysom Hill. How did I not mention Taysom Hill? I said all this.
Good. You get lost in the equation. That's good.
And I said all of this, and shame on y'all in the Great Saints Think Tank who did not correct my ass, because I was naming out all those people, and I did not say Taysom Hill. I did not say Taysom Hill. So we say all that to say that Taysom Hill is there as well. Wow.
That's true, but he's on borrowed time, because I think they grooving Stevens within 2 years. Taysom Hill going to be gone anyway. You heard it here first.
Well, I mean, that's after the Saints reach for that level. I mean, he got him for 2 years. Hopefully, it's a deep playoff run this year. Next year, we'll learn from it and move forward. But man, I really do think that this is a very special offense. This is the most talented offense that I've ever seen before. This is the most talented. And you look at all them weapons: Thomas, Sanders, Taysom Hill, Elvin Kamara, Jared Cook, Josh Hill, Adam Troutman, and then you throw the guys in, like I said, and Ty Montgomery, who a lot of people not talking about Montgomery, but Montgomery, bro, he's the guy that'll come in, run the ball for you when you need a good run, has good speed, good shake, very strong, and they can line up at the slot position and catch him on the inside. Good grief. Good grief, the Saints know what they're doing with this.
Ball pretty good there, you know. I'm not saying he's a Jerry Rice with the catch it, but he can catch it now.
I mean, it's just insane. That's how we can look at it. Said, and then of course Rosenthal or Rosen, whatever his name is, from NFLnetwork.com. We did the article about him a couple of shows ago. Who, when he said that the Saints have the best roster in football, you think about it. Who can stop that except for themselves? So you offensively you're that offensively stacked. You're that offensively stacked, and then you go defensively. You're stacked on defense. Just get that edge rusher. Get that edge rusher and watch what happens. And watch. Watch. Come on, man. I'm feeling it.
Because you know
and
what,
Deontay Harris.
if we'd have lost him, with that injury last year, the defense would have been sucked. Already I got ate up all year long with injuries anyway, And if we'd lost Cam Jordan, that defense would have been just done,
Right.
So he's getting older, so that's what people don't realize, Q. When you play football and you hit your 30s, you're more prone to injuries, you're more prone to sickness and different little things, and you just can't keep taking that pounding like that and not get no help. You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give him some help, But it's like I said, it's going to have to come down to imagination. I mean, even the old say we let Craig Hayward and Dalton Heaton throw the ball on fullback and halfback option. I don't know if you remember this play. You remember that time Dalton Heaton threw the ball about 15 yards to Bobby Abrams, he made the catch. But they joked about it. Bobby said, well, don't worry about it. We call Smith around. That probably just happened once in a lifetime. Never ran that play again. And Bobby took a pretty good pop, too. So, hey, at least they did throw a wrinkle every now and then. It wasn't too often.
Nah, it was very far and few of them in between for Carl Smith, man. Boy, he was terrible.
And it was comical when he did because they were so unused to doing it. Everybody was shocked, But yeah, man, you have to change it up. I mean, because if you don't, the Tampa Bay changes up, Atlanta changing up, the Panthers changing up. The Saints can't keep trying to do what they've been doing the past 3 years, or it's going to be another year of bumping and one and done. And the people can't. The Saints fan ain't gonna keep putting up with that cute, It's just a matter of time, I say it again. If you fail in the playoffs again, it's just a matter of time. Sean Payton gonna fool around and coach himself out of a job. Because like you said, you need to listen to Bill Parcells. You don't stay nowhere too long.
I mean, and that's true, but Bill Parcells did say that because Bill Parcells knew that he didn't have staying power. That he knew that eventually he had to keep it moving because he couldn't keep teams affixed to his game plan. Sean Payton, in my opinion, he's proven that he could have prolonged success, but he has to be able to understand that with a team this incredibly talented, and that says a lot when I say that this team is the most talented Saints team that I've ever seen. And we saying from an offensive standpoint because the Dome Patrol was fantastic on the defensive side of the ball, but the Saints offense this year is absolutely insane. The kind of talent. And then looking into the future, let's say Drew does retire after one season. And you have Jameis Winston there. The Saints have done a absolute terrific job. I have to give them that. In bringing talent, which is, listen, you're getting first level talent for pennies on the dollar. It's like buying Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway portfolio for pennies on the dollars, and his stuff is right now. If you look it up, his stuff is thousands of dollars just for a share stock. You got to be a real big timer to be able to buy Warren Buffett's junk. But it's just they've done a great job.
Will be somewhere smiling at some of the cheapness. Cute, you got to be smiling somewhere.
Man, it's just absolutely amazing to me because a lot of these players are coming here because they want to win. You heard what Shaquille said. They're taking lesser deals to come here and play for the Saints because they want to win. The culture has been set where the Saints have been proven they've overcame the losing baghead culture that we had to deal with for so many years. And then it was the culture in between when you finally broke away from the bad heads, but you was still connected to them because you had winning, then losing, then winning, then losing, then winning, then losing, then win, and then losing. And then you had that phase, and then you came out of it. Now you perennial playoff team. Now you're perennial. You keep making the playoffs year after year after year, and now you're expected to just make the playoffs, as opposed to a team like you were back in the day, a Cleveland Brown type team who's just happy to have a winning record. If they go 9-7, they're celebrating in the streets in Cleveland. That's how long it's been since they've had a winner in football. But when it comes down to what the Saints have had to endure and what we had to endure over this time, this is a very talented team on many levels. The offense is unbelievable because the depth, the Saints have done such a terrific job in getting the talent through the draft and then using talented players like Adam Troutman, who's going to play he's going to play a lot this year. Believe that. The Saints 3 tight end package will be employed because I was advocating for that all last year and the year before that. I wanted the 3 tight end package back because I realized how impactful that package is for the Saints. They can run or pass out of that package. It's very, very great package for them. Getting that back with 3 tight ends that can actually catch the ball, because don't get it twisted. Josh Hill was a catching tight end before he developed into a really good blocking tight end. He can catch the ball too. And remember when Jared Cook was out, Josh Hill did a hell of a job replacing Jared Cook when he was hurt last year. So you add Troutman to the mix, who can, and listen, Cook or Troutman, those guys don't have to be affixed to the line of scrimmage. To the offensive line. You can move those guys out and have them play away from the line and make plays happen. Cook's big, he's huge. Troutman 6'5".
That's
with soft hands. So it's talent all around.
That's the start tight end. I put him on the level with Kittles. I really am. I think he's gonna be phenomenal. I tell you the truth, Q, I dare say he's gonna be better than Jimmy Graham, and we know how outstanding he was. He could, when he was in North for a few years.
He could very well be, because this guy not only catches the ball very well, soft hands, big target, red zone weapon, but he's also a really good blocker. So he has Jimmy beat there. The fact that he can actually block, and Jimmy blocks every now and again, but this kid can actually block, and he's mobile. He can move, he can run, he can catch. And the Saints gave up a lot of picks just to get Troutman, and then traded back into the draft and got this other kid, Tommy Stevens, who is going to be a tight end / running back utility player on the Saints team. I still think the Saints don't put Tommy Stevens on the practice squad, because they know teams like Carolina knows if he's on the practice squad, Carolina gonna say, let me get that out you. And the Saints, well, we might as well put him on the active roster. So he's gonna make it. So Tommy Stevens is another utility guy. Think about this. It's absolutely it's insane, the amount of weapons, and then the Saints keep adding to it. Like I said, the Ty Montgomery thing, a lot of people not really thinking about Ty Montgomery's usage in the Saints offense. The Saints have been woefully looking for a slot man since Willie Snead left. Since Willie Snead was gone, they have not found a decent slot man. Now, don't get me wrong, Carr.
Even Robert Meacham,
But Meacham wasn't really, he was they kind of used him inside and out. He was up and down. And then they had Rasheed Matthews, who they signed last year to come in and try to play, but then he ended up retiring and doing this thing he did, whatever happened. But this guy could play the slot. He could play running back or slot. The Saints don't really have any problems. Think about it. They don't have any offensive issues to even worry about, to be honest with you. So, if you look at it, man, I'm telling you that the Saints, and we even look down to Tommy Stevens, the 7th-round draft pick, who will be on the roster, and guys like Ty Montgomery, man, it gets where if you're a defense against the Saints, what do you do? What did you do? There's weapons everywhere in the Saints offense. And I not mentioned about Tom. I talked about Mike Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders and Jared Cook, but the guys up under them can kill you. They can hurt you. Adam, the Troutman, Ty Montgomery, Deontay Harris, and then you get a sneaky player in there. We're gonna see something, either whether it's from Traquan Smith, who's really a problem, and then Taysom Hill. Goodness grief, man. And then the quarterback situation, man, come on. Taysom Hill is there too. Right. That's your slot man running around making plays on the field. Your backup running back is part-time quarterback. Taysom Hill. And then the Saints obviously don't trust him. The Saints are definitely going to use that 3-quarter package, the 3-quarterback package, like when they used when they had Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees, and Taysom on the field at the same time. They can still do that with Jameis Winston. They could put Jameis Winston, Drew Brees, and Taysom Hill on the field. And don't expect the Saints not to use that because they'll utilize that. They can utilize that too. So, like I said, that offense is just nightmarish for everybody. And the defense could just do what they do. Sean Payton give us one more jewel by going out and getting the defensive guy that knows, defensive edge rusher who knows what the hell he's doing. I don't care who it is, but some of the top guys that's out there that's left, get somebody like that, put them on that other edge, and let's go and get the Super Bowl. Shit, you might be able to get 2 of them back to back if you keep this team together, man. I'm telling you.
It's exciting, Q.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting.
But the potential is there. But Q, can they put it on the field game in and game out? That's going to be the $50,000.
I think in the regular season, Brother Paul, they most certainly can. I'm looking at the playoffs in which guys like Emmanuel Sanders was brought in to do you for. Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins was brought in just to get their playoff collective brains together. Think about it. All that experience, the playoff experience that Emmanuel Sanders has, all that playoff experience that Malcolm Jenkins have, those guys are going to come in and round this team out in the playoffs because we were lacking maturity the last 3 years, making and committing a lot of on-field errors. These smart veterans that have high production in the playoffs will not allow that to happen. And that is a part of the game why I absolutely love it, baby. Love it.
That's so cute because you played sports and I did too. You got to have somebody that give you a butt chewing sometimes. When you playing, I can understand injuries and whatnot, and some things happen in your mind. You had an off game. I understand that, Q. But you can't tolerate just keep on subpar play when you know you got better talent and potential than that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right.
You got to have players that can hold each other accountable. You said it last year. I mean, who's gonna hold somebody accountable? I mean, you're not doing what you're supposed to. Come on, man, you're better than this. And do it in a way that you can motivate your teammate and not tick him off that he don't want to do nothing. You know what I mean? What you think?
I think you're right. I mean, you got to work together, man, and that's a part of it. And I think that like a lot of these veterans that we talked about, that's brought in for that reason. They're brought in for that playoff experience. And a lot of people not looking at it like that right now. And of course, it's not unlikely for them not to look at it because we're that far away from the playoffs. But that has got to be the mindset when you bring in a guy like Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins. They do the same things, but on opposite sides of the spectrum. You have Emmanuel Sanders, greatest Michael Thomas is. He is not on the level of Emmanuel Sanders when it comes down to that playoff experience. So he would be a guy that definitely listens to Emmanuel Sanders, who's been to multiple Super Bowls, who's played and been as productive.
That's true.
Then you look at Jenkins, the same thing with Jenkins.
Yeah, you heard it first. Michael Thomas will not get 100 catches this year. He might well forget it. That's not going to happen. You got too many other people that the ball going to have to go through.
Yeah, so it's not. He was a central part of the defense, and the offense, and it was basically cycling through just 3 players: Jared Cook and Alvin Kamara, and then Mike Thomas. That's how the offense ran through those 3 players. Not this year. This is a total different thing altogether, man. Totally different altogether. Actually, totally different. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. We'll see. We will see exactly how it goes.
Barring injuries, we got that injury bug always.
You got to throw that in there. But have not the Saints. I mean, if you look at it, have not the Saints protected and shielded themselves from the injury bug by allowing to get this type of depth, by getting this type of depth that we talked about all over the place. All of the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, they have shielded themselves from just like they did, like you said, from last year, and provided a way for these people. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing to me, man. It's absolutely amazing.
A lot of people forget, Q, you had guys on the offensive line and defense were getting hurt in training camp and all this kind of stuff. All for the season that we never even, like Cameron Tom, we never even got to see him suit up. He got hurt, during the preseason, So we got some diamonds in the rough that we ain't even seen polished good yet. So, it's not gonna be when to tell you the truth, it hasn't been an excuse the past 3 years, but it's definitely not gonna be an excuse this year for any playoff phase. It's just not.
I agree with you. It's no excuses. Iceman always says that as one of his favorite sayings. And Sarah Tramal and the rest of the family members like to say it too. It's no excuses, man. It's no excuses. Drew Brees says his final year. You have a very loaded and stacked team. It's no excuses this year. We've got to have a deep playoff run, culminating with a Super Bowl victory. And we're gonna end up going through Kansas City to get it. But the Saints I really do believe that the Saints are primed for a Super Bowl appearance. And this is going to be one of the difficult times you have to get through it, to get through Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, because he's coming here saying that, listen, I'm going to give me a Super Bowl at least one of these years. That's his thought process. And as long as we have our Drew and this stacked team, we got to do it. And like I said, we got Drew Brees. He has a 2-year contract. They're telling you 1 year is 2 years. And then you look at Emmanuel Sanders. He's on the 2 years. Malcolm Jenkins has a 4-year deal that basically breaks down to a 2-year contract. So they're in for the next couple of years. And then after that, there'll be a switching up of the guard in which the Saints will have to reformat or get another quarterback and try to do it again. But for the next 2 years, I'm saying it's who that time. No excuses.
You got to. And you know what, Q? From the OTAs to the first kickoff of the first game, that's going to have to be the attitude that's going to have to permeate over there on Airline Drive, front office, all the way down to the ball boy. You got to do it. No excuses. Let's do this. Let's do this. Like I say, that one that done closed down to at least 2 years now, and you got to do or die. And that's just it.
No doubt about it. No doubt
but
about it.
But I enjoyed the few, man. This has bringing back a whole lot of memories, man. I tell you. But I enjoy it, man. You as a saint, Q, if they cut you, I believe you bleed black and gold. I really do.
There you go, baby.
You just can't help it, man. It's just in you, And every true Saints fan got to know down in their heart, we've been down too long. Q is time to, like the cream, we got to ride back to the top.
That's where we belong, baby. Cream of the crop, man. No else but. But thank you, Brother Paul. Appreciate you, my friend.
Take it easy now.
Who that? My friend. Who that to you? Thank you.
All right.
That's Brother Paul, man, chiming in. DC, you on the line, fam?
Yeah, I'm here, man. What's going on, Big Q?
How you doing, my friend? How you been doing, brother?
Oh, I'm pretty good, man. Can't complain.
Good to hear from you, brother. We got our resident historian on the line. We got one of our key contributors chiming in, DC chiming in. And it's been a while since DC's been on the regular live stream. DC has been contributing on the TSC Q&A Live, which is the special show provided for content that we do for our Patreon and YouTube members. You have to subscribe to get that content, but DC usually chimes in on that as well. So it's good to see him chiming in tonight on a few things. DC, before we get going,
good to be back, man. Good to be back.
Welcome back. Good to see a few family members chiming in the building as well. Verla says you can stop it, Q. Peyton can he says who can? Oh, no, hold on. I'm saying that wrong. That's my bad. He said Verla says who can stop it, Q. Peyton can, unfortunately, just like what they said in B-ball, only one who could truly stop MJ was Dean Smith. That's right. Very true. And that goes without saying. But I'm thinking, and people say, well, Q, how could you be so certain about Sean Payton as in years past you've been in pure lambastement of Sean Payton? Well, I think that lambastement to a degree is not just come from me. I mean, a lot of people kind of put me as front as a guy lambasting. A lot of this stuff gets back to these people. And they should have a critical thinking aspect of mind if you got such a public ass job. The truth of the matter is, you're not going to stop lambasting the president if you agree. I mean, some people agree, some people disagree. That's just how it is. When you have a public job, that's how it goes. But it's out of love. I don't lambaste Sean Payton. And notice I've always give Sean Payton credit, but then I also get on him on that as well. And I think the reason why I say this year will change a lot of what he was doing in prior years is because of the finality of what we're dealing with. This is a very stacked team, like I've just documented. went over it, and while I was listing the people that have been this offense that has been put together, I was in amazement myself, and I watched all this happen. I watched everything play in front of my eyes, and did dozens of shows covering it from possibly every angle that I could capitulate. But it goes to show you that when you break it down from a micro level, and you look at it, DC, you could help but to see all the talented players lining up. I ain't just talking about Michael Thomas and Jared Coulter, Elvin Kamara. We know about those guys.
We loaded,
about
we got a
Emmanuel Sanders and all them other
on
guys.
every unit.
Isn't that crazy? And then the role players are even excellent. Think about some of the guys the Saints picked up in the draft. Think about this, DC. Adam Troutman, who Sean Payton lamented and said that he will be a major, that he's going to play a lot. And we anticipate him because in by next year, he's going to be the new star tight end. He will take over when Jared Cook is out of here. So, I mean, I think Troutman is absolutely terrific. The Saints gave up all the remaining draft picks they had to go out and get this kid, who some people had this guy as the second, some had him as the first, some had him as the second, some had him as the third best tight end in the entire draft. You look at his film footage, soft hands, could block, can run. It's an excellent weapon in the Saints offense. You look at Adam Troutman. You look at Ty Montgomery, DC, who could play running back and can line up in the slot for you. Could be an excellent slot man who's not afraid to go across the middle. This kid plays special teams too. So, I mean, and then you talk about Taysom Hill, Deontay Harris. You know, you talk about all these talented players, and then the fact that the Saints have a seven-round draft pick, Tommy Stevens. The Saints will not practice squad Tommy Stevens, knowing that Carolina wants him. He's going to be on the active roster. So he's going to be playing in some capacity in the black and gold offense. It's absolutely just mind-boggling how the offense is. What do you think about that?
Man, I think it's amazing. And one thing people talk about you, Lamb-Bates and Sean Payton. If Sean Payton played in Cincinnati, they would love him. He would get parades every year. They would be happy with achieving what we've been achieving. But it's one thing about New Orleans, man, and everybody in this city is they 0 to 100, man. But we're resilient. We deal with the roadblocks. We deal with getting knocked down. But you got to keep going. We ain't gonna be happy till we get back to the mountaintop. So people gonna critique you, especially after all this pain and misery we've been through. No. I mean, people here, you got the most loyal fans ever. You can see it. We got a whole show based around the fans. The Great Saints Think Tank. Who does that,
baby?
Who does that, man? That's some New Orleans stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's the embodiment of our city and how we roll. We're actually one of the only places where we say stuff about our team and it happens. I don't think every other team has that. So you going off on Sean Payton is just run downhill, what we call keeping it real, man. And a lot of them journalists and all these other people that's probably around, they ain't used to that. We gonna keep it real here. You heard Delvin Bro? It's like, what is this man, God? Like, Delvin Bro probably was critiquing him. That might have been another reason they got him up out of there. That's New Orleans up and down, man. Well, look, I ain't scared of him. He bleed like I bleed.
Delvin Bro is definitely from New Orleans. Ain't no doubt about that one.
Right. You gonna call a spade down here, man. You know how I go. We gonna call it what it is.
Right.
And Sean Payton is an amazing coach, but we're not gonna act like we didn't lose a lot in the playoffs based on just bad play calling. I still can't get over the 4th and 1 reverse, man. I would never thought in a million years, and I guess that's why he did it, because he figured nobody would think in a million years that I would do this. But the easiest way to get somewhere is a straight line, and on 4th down, you don't want to gamble. But I think we definitely have the most talented Saints team ever assembled, man. I mean, you look at every level of the team, and we have a star on every level. I don't think they had a Saints team, not even a Super Bowl team. I couldn't say that we had a star on every level. You think? I think we might have been missing maybe on one level.
Yeah.
Most levels we did.
Yes, yeah, most of them we didn't, and then you had a level that just overachieved. That was really a normal level, but everybody else was so great it just brought an average unit or above average unit a little higher, and they overachieved at the level because everybody was operating in that championship spirit. So that brought them up to a higher level.
The thing I'm amazed about the most, though, is if anybody remembers the 2011 team, this kind of reminds me of that team with a more balanced defense, and they've got people on offense because Drew Brees is a great quarterback, and not to take anything away from him, but our offense has always been the best when we're able to throw the ball to guys that can create a few little yards after the catch. We got 3 or 4 guys that can do that. That's crazy. Emmanuel Sanders is a guy like that. He can pretty much do everything. He's like a baby Michael Thomas in the sense of he don't have any limitations to his game. Now, he excels, is better in certain areas, but he can pretty much do anything. He can be a number 1 if you need him to, if Michael Thomas gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? He can play number 2. He can play in the slot.
Yep.
He can actually be a burner. He can do everything. Then you got Ty Montgomery, who's almost like a step-down version of Alvin Kamara. I mean, let's be honest, their games are very similar. I mean, I don't think he breaks as many tackles as dynamically as Kamara, but when you go look at the tape, Ty Montgomery be running people over too.
Yeah.
And he'll shake you.
Yeah.
Stiff arm to the ground, all that, man. He has a very nasty game, and he can catch. He can catch the ball over his shoulder, everything. You got Taysom Hill, you know what he does. Then you got Ty Montgomery to take away some special teams duties from Devontae Harris, so he might be added into the offense. We're talking about this deep threat and the guy that I like as well from Tennessee, Callaway.
Yes.
But
I didn't even mention him.
Devontae Harris might be that guy, man. They might be grooming Callaway to come up down the pipe. Devontae Harris might be that guy this year. You know what I'm saying? So
it's insane.
Man, they stacked in that. I'm just talking about the receivers. We already know we got the offensive line. We've improved our linebacking core. That's a question mark, though, to see somebody else step up. I know what Anzalone's going to give me. If he can stay healthy, I hope he did get with one of Drew Brees' people. The same people who gave it to Taysom Hill. That would be nice. Devontae Davis. He got with Davis' people. But you got the secondary. You already know what they're going to bring you. Adding Malcolm Jenkins, man. He's going to fit like a glove. You know, already been here. Yeah, I'm sure he knows the system. He's been with Dennis Allen before. Man, you go on and on all day, dude. We just signed the offensive lineman today. We stole a ex-starter from the Ravens. And then it's still making moves. And we know what's coming down the pipe. You know, we about to cut another mystery man and get $5 million. Y'all already know his name. So they going to make another move. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's a beautiful thing what the Saints are doing. I can't speak highly enough, but at the same time, we've all been hurt, man. It's like dating a beautiful ex-girlfriend, and y'all keep getting back together. Because as beautiful as she is and as intelligent as she is, like, oh, man, I hope she don't do what she did last time. That's really the only thing, man. Now she'd have come back with implants. She'd have got her butt done. She'd have got everything this time.
Stop it. She did all that, man. She got a butt done.
She did it all this time. She even went to college. She went to college too.
Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, right now I got the offensive depth chart on the screen for the family members, man. As you can see, man, when you put it on screen, it just shows you exactly what we're working with. My goodness, Michael Thomas here, Emmanuel Sanders here. Do you see Traquan Smith, who's a lot of people don't like Traquan Smith, and they're looking at Traquan Smith being replaced. But listen, he has a real uphill battle. He has a real uphill battle because you're looking at guys like Taysom Hill, who's going to play in that third wide receiver position. I mean, that's going to push him down. So, and then you look at guys like Ty Montgomery, who DC had, a lot of great points about Ty Montgomery. And the funny part about it is, though, Ty Montgomery is when he signed, and y'all remember the report that we did, we basically just broke down the report and said Ty Montgomery is a football player, very tough. Reason why we bringing this up is because he is really a wide receiver by trade, but tough enough to play the running back position and did it pretty well. He's not afraid to go across the middle, and he plays special teams. That's too much value to just overlook, to simply overlook. I'm keeping it real. There are, and it just goes to show you. And then we see, you talk about guys as Latavius Murray, Dwayne Washington's in the mix who could be having issues, but it's also other guys like Tony Jones Jr. You mentioned Marquez Callaway, Jawan Johnson.
I didn't even mention Troutman.
Troutman is another guy we made mention of alone. So it's so many weapons around that it's hard for me to even say to myself, man, the Saints, we got to get it going. It's just the defenses have to come up. The defense has to step up, and the defense has to play. So that's what it basically comes down to in my opinion. And that's pretty much what it is. And how it is that the offense is well-rounded. We talk about misses like Traquan Smith and what he needs to do. The truth be told is Traquan Smith, the writing could be on the wall for Traquan Smith this year with all these additions. Now, only thing that might save it is the bit we don't know what the injuries are looking like. Now, we just lost Noah Spence for pretty much, I would say, the majority of the season and for a deep playoff run. You're dealing with injuries right now to him and Kiko Alonso. Both tore with ACLs, I believe, on both of those men. Those require time to come back. So with that being said, hopefully there's not too many injuries left as we get ready to open this camp and start getting this work in. Hopefully some of these guys could remain healthy and we can get through. But man, what better way to bridge yourself or protect yourself against the injury monster is to stackpile depth like the Saints have done offensively and defensively. Absolutely amazing. Who that to you? PJ Coltrane. What up, PJ? Good to see you. He says, what up, Q? What up, Q? We need another linebacker for real. I got you, family. We got one in Shaquille, but you never know. Also, Jay Huntsberry, who that to you, says, what do you think about our cornerback depth? Cornerback depth looks, Janoris Jenkins and Marshawn Lattimore is there. Chauncey Gordon-Johnson, in my opinion, plays the slot. Patrick Robertson is the fourth guy. Then you got other backs, the XFL guys there as well. And then behind him, guys like Justin Hardy. I still say the Saints could use another.
What's the cat name from Maryland?
Well, you got Tino Ellis, and Keith Washington.
The coach from Maryland.
Yeah, it's Tino Ellis and Keith Washington, the two undrafted cornerbacks that a lot of people think is going to get an opportunity to step in. And if they play well enough, you'll be able to knock off a guy like Patrick Robertson, who I don't know. I think the Saints like that cornerback.
In coverage over them.
They do.
Those Maryland cornerbacks they are excellent coverage, and that's what we need, man. We just need somebody that ain't go just get burnt, especially at a key moment in the game over the top. Now, somebody understand if you get a 7-yard pass, a 5-yard pass here, even if it is a third down, a completion or something. I mean, man, it's just embarrassing how we get torched over the top sometimes.
Right, absolutely. And I think a portion of that, the cornerback position, I still say the Saints, wouldn't hurt the Saints to address it by getting a veteran cornerback to come in, a veteran cornerback to kind of come in and provide more competition there. But I do like the young guys behind them. I like the two guys we talked about. One of them, Tino Ellis from Maryland. The other guys from West Virginia, I believe. So it's good to see some of those guys right there. These young guys come in, and I like their games. They're tall, very. What's the term I'm looking for those? Very aggressive cornerbacks, coverage guys. They got a few things they got to work on, but I love their mindsets, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've seen like if some Damian Swain type of characteristics in these guys. And y'all remember Damian Swain? I absolutely love Damian Swain. The only problem with him was he could not stay healthy. He kept getting these concussion issues. But Swain was an excellent DB for the Saints. And I see Swinish qualities in these young defensive backs, not afraid to go after the ball, not afraid to make plays, or hesitant like a PJ Williams or a King Crawley, guys that just waited to get burned, as opposed to guys know if you're gonna do something to me, you're gonna fight me down there to get in. And I love the mindset of Ellis and Washington. Bro, absolutely. So thank you for that question, Jay Huntsberry. PJ Coltrane, who that to you as well. Ricky Jones, what up, Ricky? That driver in the building as well. And good to see the family members there as well. So, yes, and that's a part of it, DC. And we got DC on the line, family, just to chime in. DC's one of our main contributors. He's on the line. as well. So DC, please feel
What's
free.
up, fam?
Please feel free to continue to break down your thought process on having the depth that's involved with the team.
Well,
So,
the depth that is involved with the team is amazing. If we do get the injury bug, I think we still have enough where we can still make that push. But on the flip side, before I get back to that, Noah Spence getting hurt might be a blessing in disguise. Maybe we all get our wish. Maybe they go make that run after Evers and Griffin now. You know what I'm saying? Or at least go sign another defensive end. I don't think he was going to be essential to the game plan, but maybe that's enough to make them feel like they got to show up some other stuff. I didn't see them signing another old lineman. I thought we were pretty much set. I thought we was going to cut somebody, but we did that. So the Saints are obviously not done making moves, but, I mean, we have tremendous depth, man. I mean, they built to last, bro. My biggest concern with the depth, I actually want to see how things look if Drew Brees does get hurt. That's how amazing this team is. I don't think we missed a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as
you got Jameis there,
regular
Taysom,
season,
either one of them. I would say.
Man, I don't think we missed a beat, man. Like, in the regular season, in the playoffs, come on, Drew got, we got to get Drew back in there. But in the regular season, man, it's going to be hard for us to be challenged. I anticipate us blowing some people out this year, man. It's going to be a little more dominant than it was last year because we have depth. So that means Sean Payton understands that. So people are going to come in waves. And when they come in waves, everybody's staying fresh. You're going to see some points going up. It reminds me of that 2011 team we had, man. We broke all the records. I'm kind of seeing that for our offense. Now, on defense, I think we got some work to be done. But I don't see us being like a middle-of-the-pack unit. I think we can be a top 10 defense. But there's a lot of things that got to fall in place. Like Davenport got to stay healthy. This defense is a whole nother defense when Rankin stays healthy and he gets in the rotation with Oyamada. It's a different look, man. So we got to somebody was saying Anzalone is suspect. And I don't feel like he's suspect at all. I just think he don't stay healthy.
I would say suspect.
He's a pretty good coverage linebacker. I've seen him get dogged out one time where people saying he's suspect, and that was the Minnesota game. They kind of gave him his lunch. But that game, that was when we opened against Minnesota. I think he was a rookie that day. And he still kind of played amazing to say he was a rookie. But you got DeMario Davis. We got the rookie. Hopefully he can pan out and be a little more than expected as far as playing every down and not just a passing NASCAR type guy. So, man, it's potential and opportunity everywhere, dude. And they stack the deck. So if somebody doesn't work, there's so many people they can rotate and put in. Then you got the other linebacker coming back from a ACL injury. Man, what was that guy's name? Big Q, that was your guy. We used to talk about him all the time, man.
Kiko Alonso.
He told me he was on. No, not Kiko Alonso. We both
Kate Nellis.
Know about him. Kate Nellis. Yeah, you hit me to Kate Nellis. And I looked at some stuff on him, man. He's amazing. So he probably would have been in the rotation last year. So we don't know what he's going to be this year, man. Charlie Garner Johnson. You got Marshawn Lattimore. You know what he's going to bring? Malcolm Jenkins. We got Marcus Williams. And y'all need to stop hating on Marcus Williams, man. PFF said he's number one, y'all. I hate when he makes some damn mistakes, too.
Oh, man.
I ain't about to sit up here and act like he the best thing since sliced bread, but he's better than a lot of other safeties in the league, man. We truly blessed. And at the same time, this team is young. So if Drew Brees does retire, or let's say we win a Super Bowl, like you said, Q, we could be looking to run it back. We could do a San Francisco.
Man,
with two different quarterbacks.
I definitely agree with that, DC, because obviously if they do that, you have Tom Brady and them sitting there, and you take it to them in Tampa, you got to follow it up. So, I mean, that's why.
About Suarez, though. I'm sorry, my brother.
Okay, so there we go. So, I mean, but you got an idea. I got a few questions from the chat. I'm going to chime in. Family, we got DC on the line, one of the original hot boys.
Oh, that's what we going with now?
One of the original Big Q and the guys from the show. Of course, DC is in the building. Much love to DC as he's chimed in. And it's been a while since we had DC on the program. A lot of people haven't heard DC in a while, man. And in a while, been like a couple of years, man. About 3 years, isn't it, DC? It's been a while, man.
Nah, it ain't been. Come on, man. Stop it, Q. Stop it,
It's been that long.
3 years?
Since you've been on the live show?
last season, I was missing last season, but
Okay.
the year before that, yeah. We was on there.
Okay. All right, but we just got.
You
we
know, I
got
did a
these-
lot of traveling during the playoffs.
Yeah, you was on the sports room.
When we got cheated.
Yeah, you was
the
on
season when we got cheated.
No, you was on.
That's when I kind of faded out. Was doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah, but you was doing a lot of traveling because you was on the sports room.
There you go with that BS.
Anyway, we got DC here, and he on the line, family. And just before DC, we got a few questions from the chat that I'm gonna throw at you right quick. But before we get into that, I want to give a couple of shouts out to the rest of the family members joining the live stream as well. Big ups to T Dirty. What up, T Dirty? Who that to my dog T Dirty? Who that for life? What up, T Dirty in the building? What up, T Dirty? I see you, fam. And who else we got there as well? Heavy C Henderson. What up, Heavy C? Good to see you, family. As well, much love to you as well. Chiming in the building. And much love to the family members. Please hit the like button. Gundam 13. I see your family. Who that to you? Good to see you in the chat.
Well,
as
they starting this Apple campaign, man. I seen about 5 people who want Eli Apple to come back. Ain't he signed to the Raiders? They deal fell apart again.
It fell. Well, it fell.
And they
apart.
never redid it.
They never redid it. After that, they signed somebody else. I forgot who they re-signed, but they went with somebody else, and that's why. In Bob Rose is another guy from Sports Illustrated. He was on the show. He was advocating for Eli Apple to come back, which would, in my opinion, I wouldn't be absorbed. I wouldn't be that mad at it. Hell, you let PJ Williams come back.
Robinson,
so why not
though.
Eli Apple?
They got to cut Robinson. They got to cut Robinson.
But who has a higher? But who has more of a higher ceiling? Is it Robinson or is Eli Apple? Okay,
he's more available.
Right,
he's more available.
So and
he
would,
hurt
and I think he would fit better in that position. A lot of people say he played limited slot position during his career, but the mere fact that he was a starting level cornerback, you don't think for a second he can learn how to play the slot? I think he can. Here's a few questions for the chat that we want to throw at you, DC.
What's up?
Smokeless YT. Who that to you? I got your question coming up as well, family. Let's see. First one's from my dog Scoop. Scoop says, "What you think about Swearinger, DJ Swearinger?"
I mean, I think Swearinger is a nice player. Like, I wouldn't call him serviceable. He's above serviceable, so I ain't gonna do that to him. But I think Swearinger is more of an insurance policy, like to step in case someone gets hurt. But at the same time, whatever Charlie Garner-Johnson's doing, I don't care if it's free safety or strong safety. He going in first, will whoever go down. So Swearinger is that guy behind him, and I think he's another veteran because they realized these guys were so young. And I think his mentality, his professionalism, and him being able – I ain't seen Swearinger getting burned like that. He was a good coverage safety. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a star, but he was definitely what I consider a good player, you know what I'm saying, in his prime. So I just see him being an insurance policy for if somebody goes hurt and to teach up the young guys. That's kind of what I think he is. And he was on his team last year, so obviously what he was doing is working because they kept him around. You know, the Saints don't play. If you disrupting that locker room, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, and you out of here. Mm-hmm. So I like Swearinger, but I'm going to be honest, I don't really think we're going to see him on the field much.
Well, that'd be a good thing, though. That'd be a good thing because, I mean, Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams handling business.
And we seen what they did with PJ, and we always talk about how amazing he looks at safety. So, I mean, you think they're going to put Swearinger in front of him? I'm not sure. Maybe they would, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a lot to be determined. Swearinger, I love the fact that it's a veteran behind a veteran there because I love to have those impactful, very productive veterans like Swearinger. Just never stayed. He never had a area where he went to. He was with the Redskins, with the Raiders and other teams. He just never was able to stay with these teams, whether it was injuries or whatnot, so on. But he gets interceptions, DC. If you watch Swearinger's film, he gets interceptions. He gets interceptions. He got an eye for the ball, and he lays your ass out.
He gambles too.
He does.
But yeah, he will lay you out, but he's more coverage to me than a hard hitter. But he'll lay you out. I remember all them fines he was getting.
Smokeless YT DC says, I'm sorry, you finished? I must have cut you off. Go ahead.
What up, brother? What up, Scoob?
Smokeless YT says, do you think LaJordan Humphrey is making the squad and getting playing time if he does? Do you think LaJordan Humphrey makes the squad and getting playing time if he does make the squad? Smokeless YT. Man, thank you for the question.
I sure hope he does, man. LaJordan Humphrey was a guy when he drafted him. You go back and see, I was speaking highly of him. I was saying he was going to make the team. I felt like we found a diamond in the rough, and he got some playing time. But they didn't really give him the ball. It's like they didn't really trust him. Him and Austin Carr are like two guys that I like to see us keep around, but with all this talent we got, I don't know how it's gonna happen. Like, we're obviously gonna have to carry 3 quarterbacks. So we're going to carry, 4 quarterbacks. So we're going to carry 4 running backs, 2 in Montgomery, and we're going to cut the receivers down to 5, and then you got to go through that. You got Thomas, Sanders, and then, Taysom Hill going to be in the quarterback role. So you got Traquan, I think they would keep on the active roster, and you got 2 other spots. I'm hoping Devontae Harris got to be one of them, so you got that 5th spot. So it's going to be between him, Austin Carr, Callaway. Man, he got some competition. I almost forgot about Juan from Oregon. And it's one other guy I'm missing. Didn't we have we still got the cat from the Redskins? Oh, we cut him.
Maurice Harris.
Yes. You got Maurice Harris.
It's a very interesting,
tall order.
Very interesting player. Yeah. I've said this several times on various different shows.
I like Jordan Humphrey, though, man.
Harris
like
is interesting. Harris is interesting. He's 6'2", 6'3". He has speed. He can catch. He just hadn't been able to stick on. And the Saints like this guy. They like Maurice Harris. So this is this is super competitive wide receiver room competition. I would absolutely love. Traquan Smith is definitely in trouble this time around.
Let me not cop out, though, because I did this last time with the last question. If I had to put my money on it, though, I would say Jordan Humphrey would be on the practice squad. I can't see them giving up on Traquan Smith, and that's really what's going to move the needle. And Austin Carr just read up his contract. I'm sure he's making more money than Jordan Humphrey. And we got all these other dynamics, too, and it's really going to come down to who they trust the most, to me, with that 5th spot as well as performance. So if Callaway comes through and blows the doors off, he's a guy that can steal that spot. But to me, Austin Carr at this point right now is a firm runner, or they might do something completely left field and keep Tommy Lee Lewis around.
Or Austin Carr.
That's what I said. I said Austin Carr is a front runner for the 5th spot.
Right. Well, he has I've told people this before. They say, well, Q, you crazy. And then next thing you know, Austin Carr's on the active roster.
Austin Carr's been on the active roster for like 3-4 years, and everybody's like, oh, they're not going to keep him. And they keep bringing him back. Like, man, I'm not going to get
Austin on the show. Austin already promised to come on the show.
Austin must be a wizard in the film room. He must be a wizard in the film room, though. Because we don't see a lot from him on game day, but he got to be doing something,
bro.
Yeah,
they like Austin Carr because he has sure hands. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the toughest guy. He's not the best catcher of the ball. But what he has a big heart. He has a high football IQ. Sean Payton likes him a lot. Drew Brees trusts him. And he's a guy that they really like a lot for that slot position. So we'll see how it plays, because I think Ty Montgomery puts a kibosh and coal in a lump of a lot of people's stockings, because he can play the running back and he can go and play that slot position. He ain't afraid of no slot like Traquan Smith is. He'll play that slot. He'll catch that ball and he'll lower his shoulder and he'll take that contact. He's not afraid. That Ty
Montgomery is a dog, and he was playing amazing at Green Bay, and I think they probably was getting into it a little bit. Maybe he had some locker room issues, because he was doing amazing, and they really didn't know how to use him. He still was playing
right. He was playing the running. He was a wide receiver playing running back and was excelling at it, to the point where the next year he came back, he was doing it, and then ultimately they went away from it and they got the other kid up there, the other Rogers kid, who's actually pretty good. But this is a weapon, man, because he'll be called upon, and he fits a lot of questions that the Saints have. Like, I wanted a guy that was flexible and versatile enough to back up Alvin Kamara, who can run and catch the ball. Ty Montgomery fits the bill for that. Then he can play with Alvin Kamara, meaning you can actually put him and Kamara on the field at the same time and in different positions. He could be a running back. There's so many ways you can come with this, man. It's just ridiculous. Go ahead, DC.
Latavius Murray, Montgomery, and Kamara on the field at the same time.
That is absolutely insane. That's insane.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. That is insane.
There's going to be a play where that happens. I bet my check on it.
That's amazing, and it will happen too. It will. That is absolutely amazing. That's what I was saying. The versatility of this offense, when you think about it, is absolutely perplexing. I got to give it to you.
Sean Payton is able to do what he loves to do, and that's put people in waves. He loves that.
T Dirty saying I was watching old Saints games all the way back to 2011, and every game we lost down to the wire was on our defense. We gotta be straight at the corner. No excuses. Thank you for that, T Dirty. Much love to you, man. He says, Heavy C says, anyone tell me where is this Clowney rumors coming from? DC, you've been hearing, I heard some of the Clowney rumors that the Saints and rumors are connecting Jadeveon Clowney and the Saints together. Those have been rumors that I've been hearing.
I haven't heard those rumors. I was speculating a little bit about Everson Griffin, about him saying he hasn't chosen the team. So I was like, oh, maybe the Saints are talking to him. Well, he wants to go to a facility and meet a team. I haven't heard anything about Jadeveon Clowney. That's completely new to me.
Okay. Well, I was hearing different rumors on the internet about that, about Jadeveon Clowney. And the thing about the Jadeveon Clowney thing is like Clowney wants $15 to $20 million to play. But if the Saints can some kind of way get Jadeveon Clowney to take woefully less than what he wants, and then he plays in the Saints system, man, could you not understand how that just takes the defense? And a lot of people not capitulating and putting Clowney and the Saints together because of the money. But the Saints are clearing money for some reason this late in the season. Now, of course, they need they only have a few handful of draft picks to sign, so it's not like they need a boatload of money to sign Ruiz or Troutman or Bond, or the 7th-round draft pick don't really cost that much money. So it's not about that. What are you then looking at bringing these cheaper options in so you can cut up Nick Easton? So look for that in several days. What's the freeing of the money for? So that creates the mentality of, okay, the Saints are making these late season moves. They got rid of Larry Warford for $8. Now they bringing in offensive linemen cheaper so they can get rid of Nick Easton, freeing up money for what could be a big move. So I can see where the speculation and why a lot of the Saints, the great Saint Think Tank family members, are then looking at that scenario and saying it could be smoke where there's fire.
It could be. And what if they do cut Patrick Robinson and bring back Eli Apple on a very team-friendly deal?
That saves $2 million plus.
Even more money.
Exactly. That gives you another $2 million, an extra cap that you do after reworking the contract. You decide to get rid of him, and then Eli Apple for a veteran minimum contract, less than $1 million. That's absolutely just amazing. You free up even more money in that scenario. And those were 3 players that was made mention of that could be released. When we talked about Larry Warford's money, we also talked about Nick Easton's $5 million, which he's definitely on the shelf for. Then there's Patrick Robinson, who reworked his contract for a cheaper contract. So did Kiko Alonso, who reworked his money because he was going to get some big payday. And the Saints were going to listen, take the cut, or we're going to cut you. So he took the pay cut, decided to stay on with the Saints. And that goes to show you where the Saints are in development in terms of players electing to take pay cuts to remain with the team, because the team is seen as a Super Bowl contender. And look at Jameis Winston.
And
Winston says
fun too.
Having fun too.
They winning and they having fun, man.
Yes, Malcolm Brown said that as well, to your point, and you're absolutely right. They're having fun winning games. And if you look at the same deal that happened with Jameis Winston, Winston chose to come to the Saints for significantly less money than what he was being offered from other teams. So that goes to show you that a lot of players have the Saints in very high regard in a very, very deep team this year. So I'm very happy about that as well. So let's keep going through the chat here.
I think Jameis got ulterior motives, though, before we move on, man. I think Jameis is eyeing a takeover. Man, we're going to have I can't wait till preseason, Big Q. I really want to see this Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston quarterback battle, bro. Sean Payton actually, we didn't put the fire to him, y'all. The great Saints think tank then got Sean Payton to actually admit what the hell we've been saying. that Taysom Hill know he got to win that position. He knows it's a battle. Sean Payton had an interview and said that. I believe we talked about that, but still, I want to see it, man. I want to see it. Jameis Winston ain't come over here for no $1 million for nothing, to just show he could play and go to another team. I think he won't be a Saint for life.
I think, Jameis Winston, man, is looking for some payback from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for what they did him, because they could have very well kept him. there and put Tom Brady on the top of him, he could have sat behind him for a cheap
Boy,
contract.
It took $1 million, man.
Yeah,
He took $1 million. Y'all couldn't keep him for $1 million. He threw 30 touchdowns.
Right.
That's cold.
That's cold.
That's cold.
That's cold-blooded.
That's cold.
That's cold. So now at the end of it, he's looking for a little payback. He comes to New Orleans and gets paid $1 million to sit as a student or an apprentice under the Sith Lord Drew Brees. He gets to sit under apprentice or a Jedi. He gets to sit underneath him for a year and be able to collect a meal just to learn from Drew Brees, to sit and learn that from Drew Brees. So it'd be excellent, man, if he could just pick up half the stuff. I'm not even asking you to retain 90% of what Drew Brees is going to show you, but at least half of that is enough to put Jameis Winston into the next upper layer of where he's supposed to be in his career. And a lot of that's tied to the maturity issues of him. Go ahead, DC, if you want to comment on that. If not, we got a question for you in the chat from Jay Huntsberry.
Oh, no, man, you covered it all. I just wanted to throw that out there while it was on my mind. But let's see what the next question is,
It's
man.
almost like when we was talking to Griff that time, and then we turn around and I said all that to Professor Griffin, then he turns around and says, ain't nothing left for you to say. You took all the meat
Man,
off the bone.
Don't do that, man.
All
I
right.
already said what I had to say. I left you some meat on the bone, didn't I?
All right, Jay Huntsberry, much love to you. Jay, who that to you, says, I love Kamara. What do you think about trading him and a pick for Fournette and the defensive end from the Jaguars? I think you're talking about Yannick, huh? I believe that Kamara is elite, but Fournette could be produced behind our O-line. What do you think about that?
I don't like that idea as much as I would love to see Fournette in black and gold because he's from here. Followed him at St. Og and the whole nine, man. Love Fournette. But Kamara is a different animal far as what he is. And the reason I say that, Kamara can be what Kamara is for 10 to 12 years. Like, you could be looking at a new age Curtis Martin situation if we use him the right way, like what they wanted to do with Reggie Bush. And you watched when Reggie Bush left here, he played amazing. He proved he can do all the stuff that people said he couldn't, but you watched his career slowly decline because he kept getting hurt. So it was a reason that Sean Payton wanted to have him on a limit count and wouldn't let him be the guy, even though we saw him have amazing games. In the beginning of his career, you kept seeing him getting hurt. Kamara has an injury history all the way back from Alabama to Tennessee. And if you can manage that, he has the ability to be a receiver and do a lot of different things. Not saying Fournette can't, but Fournette's style of play is all about trucking you over, man. I mean, he got some wiggle. He fast as hell. And he can catch out of the backfield, but I love the brother, and I hope I'm wrong because I really like him, man. I'm proud of everything he did. We homegrown, watch him coming up, but I just got to be honest, like he gets hurt a lot, and his style of play doesn't contribute to him not getting hurt. It would be amazing to see him and Kamara here, but I don't think they give us him and what is Ojoka? What's that guy's name? I can't pronounce his name. I know what he's talking about with the defensive end.
Oh, Yannick?
But I can't say Yannick. I can't see him giving both of them to us for Kamara and some draft picks. Our draft picks ain't gonna be worth crap. The whole league know that. we picking in the 30s.
That's true. And the Saints, I mean, it just doesn't make a difference. Wherever the Saints picking at, they making sure they get the straight value for these picks. They had 5 picks last year, and man, you think about it, the Saints move up. They get some people say the best center in the draft. Some people say the second best center in the draft. But this Caesar kid is also.
I like the LSU center too. He was pretty good too.
Yep. And then Zach Bourne, who has athleticism to the defense, and also a guy that can hit the edge for you if you need him to in situational pass rushing duties. He brings that high energy and infectious nature to the team as well. And then you look at guys like Adam Troutman, a big 6'5" guy that can run soft hands, catches the ball in the red zone really well, knows how to use his size to defeat smaller defenders. I mean, it's just absolutely, and he was considered in some by the second to third best tight end in the draft. The Saints got him. So the Saints got the first or second best center in the draft compared to based on what you're looking at. The Saints turn around and get the second or best tight end in the draft, depending on who you talk to. And then if you look at guys like who got not Troutman, but Zach Bourne, he's considered the second best outside linebacker in the draft. So the Saints have gotten quality all over the place with these draft picks, plus a utility special in Tommy Stevens, who could come in and play tight end for you and whatever. Big wide receiver, tight end, have a utility guy there that can actually. I mean, so in my opinion, the Saints went through and got some value, then reinforced it with the undrafted process. Because remember, you can't just talk about the draft without mentioning the undrafted guy. You got to put the drafted and undrafted guys together to get a good idea of what kind of team they got. And they have great, it's like the third or fourth best undrafted class in the NFL this year. Go ahead, DC.
You can't talk about the draft or the undrafted guys without mentioning Jeff Ireland. He definitely needs a damn raise.
Yeah.
I'm with school, man. I think we need to reformat our front office. And pump some people up because it's been truly amazing what they've done over the last 4 years, man. I mean, we remember, bro, being on the shows when 2016 and 2015 and how frustrated we were talking about things that they've done and past moves we've made, and to see Jeff Ireland come in here in a total transformation in our draft tendencies. It all changed when he got here. Before he was here, we remember.
Yeah.
What was that guy, man? We used to joke about all the Baptiste. We drafted Baptiste.
Stanley
We
Jean
drafted
Baptiste.
him like in the second round. And did he even make the team?
He made the team. He made the team. He
Oh,
just
man,
couldn't
he
get
might
on the
as
field
well
because he
not
was
have
so
made the
bad.
team.
He was just so bad. He was incredibly raw.
Man,
And they
when
took
we
this
drafted
kid
him
talking
in
about
the
he was
second round.
calling him Richard Sherman and all that. He had no speed. He had no technique. Man, he was terrible, man. We were out of our minds that year, man. Who that to you, Derek
But
Allison?
you know what?
I see you, Derek Allison.
I think that was the pick where they realized, excuse my French, we fucking up.
Yeah, they were terrible, man.
They went in and remolded and changed everything, man. So you just named all of those picks. It's like the Saints can't lose, dude. Even though we don't get a star every time we draft somebody, we always get someone we can use every time. Even Traquan Smith, we bang on Traquan Smith, but Traquan Smith has produced. I mean, he has some games where he borderline looked like, he might be that guy, and then he'll tail off. But he had done some stuff, you know what I'm saying, to say, he was worth a pick. Maybe not where we picked him, but he was definitely worth 8. Right.
I mean, just his windows chase him. He'll multiple millions of dollars. He's now the third wide receiver. And then Traquan's relegated to the fourth wide receiver. But you got Marquez Callaway, Juwan Johnson, Maurice Harris, Tim White, Tommy Lee Lewis, and several other talent that's there. Not to mention Deontay Harris expect to play more of a role in a wide receiver off in the Saints' steady offense. So it's
Tyreek Hill, man.
Traquan is just. I don't see how he's going to get an opportunity to shine. Who that to you, Jesse Jackson? Good to see you. And my dog, Derek Allison, in the building as well. Much love to both. Who that to both the family members for joining us. D, who that to you out there? Hope you're doing well, my man. But once again, we got DC on the line, talking Saints with us. He was kind enough to come in with us on this Wednesday show and drop some knowledge with the great Saints Think Tank. Now, we'll keep on going for another 13 minutes before we shut the stream down at 3 hours. But pretty much it was, but you're absolutely right, from the wide receiver room. Let me ask you this, DC. We have a lot of depth everywhere. What is the most deep, in your opinion, what is the deepest position that the Saints have right now that is really deep, that's just undeniably deep and impactful in your opinion?
Oh, that's easy, man. And anybody who disagrees with me is crazy. Quarterback is the deepest position on the Saints team. I mean, think about it. You only need one of them. We got 3 that could potentially start on the team for anybody. Think about that.
I mean, that's true. Quarterback is deep. That is a deep position. I didn't think you would go there. I thought you might go interior defensive line, but I'm not mad at the quarterback
interior
position.
defensive line is, but
you say 4 quarterbacks. I don't think you could. They're considering Tommy Stevens.
We got 3 that can start. We got 3 that can start.
Okay.
And then you got one that's still going to give you production this year. And when one of your other starters play tight end, wide receiver. He play on special teams. He
Two of them
account
do.
for 3 other people.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Right. So that's definitely the deepest position on the team when you look at it technically and logically.
Wasn't that not the
But
case
if you
last
want to
year?
go, huh?
Wasn't that not the case last year?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are we,
Without
let me ask
Taysom
you,
Hill, I
are
think
we in a better
we'd have
position?
lost at least 3 games without Taysom Hill.
So are we
We'd
a
have
better?
had 3 losses.
So let me,
3 more losses.
that sparks this question to you. Are we better at the position this year than we were last year?
Yes.
How so?
Simple answer, yes. Because we've taken what we've done, we've created a trend in the league. You got other people wanting to copy it. So not only are we trendsetters, but what Taysom Hill does, we went a step further and added another guy to do what he does. And then, if that wasn't good enough, we went a step further and we upgraded Teddy Bridgewater. Come on, man. Y'all can talk about Jameis Winston all you want. I like both of them, Jameis Winston and Teddy Bridgewater. I think they're both excellent quarterbacks. Jameis Winston needs a little work, but so did Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater had the opposite problem that Jameis Winston had. Teddy Bridgewater was too cautious. That was his problem. He had to get a little more gunslinging in him. Now they're going to take Jameis Winston and they got to do the opposite thing. He got too much gunslinging in him.
Yeah, that's absolutely
They got to
true.
rail that back.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but if you want to put them up next to each other, and I'm grading them on what we do with quarterbacks, because we obviously are quarterback whisperers at this point. Jameis Winston is a better mold than Teddy Bridgewater in every way, from athleticism to arm to accuracy. The only area he can't beat Teddy is decision making.
Okay.
That's it. So we've upgraded, in my opinion, even that role.
I like it. I love it. And so in that perspective, the question was asked by Jay Huntsberry, will we carry 4 QBs? And I don't think the Saints see Tommy Stevens as a QB, even though he was drafted as a QB out of college. That's not I don't think they're going to list him as a QB. He'll be more like a tight end / a wide receiver.
A tight end, really?
I would say tight end. I would say tight end. I would say the Saints will list him at tight end. And people say, well, damn, the Saints will carry 4 tight ends into the season. They will not release.
We've actually done that before.
We've done that before, right? But this tight end, the 4th tight end could actually see the field, because you're looking at possibly 4 tight ends. You might get 4 or 5 or 6 wide receivers, depending on how far. You got to look at it. Right now, 3 of if you say 6 slots in the wide receiver, and we probably will do a show on this. We probably do a show. Matter of fact, we're going to do a show this Sunday, this Saturday coming up, where we'll be able to go over that. We'll go over that, and we'll give our take our 90-man Saints roster with everybody on it. I'll make sure I put it on the screen and show all 90 men on the team currently. And then we'll go and then break it down into what we believe the 53 roster and see what it's saying, because 3 of the wide receiver spots, if we say they keep 6 wide receivers, just saying they keep 6, 3 of those positions are already taken. Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas, and Deontay Harris, those 3 of those are taken. So who's the remaining 3? You got to make sense of that. And then, of course, you look at the tight end positions. All the tight ends are meaning Josh Hill, Jared Cook, and Adam Troutman. Then you look at Tommy Stevens. You know the Saints are going to keep Tommy Stevens, because if they put him on the practice squad, guess who's going to go and get him? Carolina or any other team with that mindset. But you can keep him as a tight end, but he can double as a wide receiver, because he's done that in college. He's a utility man. So expect to see him play at the wide receiver position. Go ahead, DC.
You forgetting one aspect of Tommy Stevens, and you may be right. Maybe they won't list him as a quarterback.
You can throw the ball if you need him to. I wouldn't get you in.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of redundant to have 4 quarterbacks listed if you don't have to.
Right.
He played special teams, and he wants to play special teams. So that to me, let's say he excels at that. You're going to look at a guy like J.T. Gray, who's a special team specialist.
Or Dwayne Washington.
Dwayne Washington, I don't think he's going nowhere. I'm talking about.
You think Dwayne Washington stays on the team despite the fact that Tom Montgomery is going to be over him? Or what about Tony Jones Jr. from Notre Dame?
Tony Jones Jr. ain't got a chance. He's a camp body at this point. I'm sorry. I know that's your guy. I know
At
you
this
like him.
point, we haven't done anything. But
He
you're
got to
saying
break. He got to break through. He got to break through a lot of hurdles, man. He got to flash a lot.
so there's so many special team spots that you can make now. Tony Jones bring another layer to the running.
I think Dwayne Washington is the mold that we're looking for to replace Latavius Murray if he gets hurt.
But isn't that Tony Jones Jr. the same back
dynamic.
with more wiggle? Tony Jones is the same back as him, and Tony Jones is a better catcher of the ball than
but
he is.
you know just as well as I do in conversations we've had. Look how they did Latavius last year. Well, look how Sean did Latavius last year. And I was actually talking to some of my friends about it, and I was like, "Why didn't you give him the ball?" Woo woo woo. And they were like defending Sean, but they made an adamant point though, and I'm like, "Damn, well, they right." Sean ain't getting the ball to you if he don't trust you, and he only gonna trust you if you've been here. So Tony Jones Jr. could flash in preseason and in camp, all that. If he not blowing the doors off, like maybe a few notches below what Alvin Kamara did when he was a rookie, it's gonna be hard for him, bro.
It might be hard for him
unless Montgomery falls off a cliff. Montgomery just don't happen no more. Then we could see a shocker like that.
I don't see that happen. I think Ty Montgomery is hungrier than ever to prove that he belongs here. And you might have a point on Tony Jones Jr. because remember
Dwayne Washington is phenomenal, man. Like he ain't going nowhere, bro.
But if you remember what happened last year when the Saints had Devine Zigbo was here doing everything. And he had one fumble, and they just ended up releasing. But I thought even if he didn't fumble, I think the Saints were going to end up releasing him anyway. But that was a terrible move as well. Now he has an opportunity to get extended minutes in Jacksonville.
I like
so
him,
Devine Zigbo was a special candidate.
He didn't do
So
anything in Jacksonville either.
But is that something? I mean, you got those other guys ahead of him, but he'll get an opportunity to do something this year. But you look at Tony Jones Jr. and if he's a north-south runner. One cut, but he can catch the ball. He can block. He do all those type of things. He fits the Saints' power back narrative and bearing injury or whatever in displacing Dwayne Washington. If you're getting one of these guys like Stevenson or Chiquillo and any of these guys that come on here, because there's so many special teams spots that'll be available, it could spell problems for a guy like Dwayne Washington. So, I mean, we'll see how it all shakes. But it'll be interesting. We got two more questions. We're going to jump in from the chat.
The Saints always had for a long time. We've always kept around like 4 running backs, though, man. That's usually the thing. And I just see Sean Payton, especially with everything at stake this year, sticking with what he knows. And Dwayne Washington has been in games, and he's produced. And we renegotiated his contract or re-signed him.
They just re-signed him to 1 year. Well,
Tony Jones is a guy that they're looking to come in camp. They're gonna give some reps to and kind of check out. Man, he's a body to take some mileage off these other guys. If he flashes, which I mean, it's got to be an extreme flash, he could upseat him. But I don't see it.
He has to be able to do.
I know that's your guy, man. I know that's your guy.
No. Listen, I'm saying I like Dwayne Washington as well, but I'm saying. You got to look at the infusion of people coming on the team. You're looking at guys like Ty Montgomery, who you're expecting they're going to play a role in special teams in some capacity. Chiquillo is a guy that's obviously signed to play in the special teams room as well. Then you look at guys like Tony Jones Jr. If Tony Jones Jr. plays special teams and does an adequate a job as a running back, he could unseat Dwayne Washington. Washington, in my opinion, is not written in marker. It's written in pencil. So those backs behind Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray could be replaced. And then, of course, there's always the injury bug to take account for. And then, of course, the fact that, like a very smart comment made by, I think, Kevin Kindly. Kevin says that, and I agree with Kevin. He says the state of the world, some rookies will not stick. The play ball is difficult because of the period of time that they have. They don't have as much time to go. Who that to you, Slick Rick, as well, join the live stream. Let's hit 2 more questions, DC, because you're on the road.
Hold up. We'll say one more thing, and then we hit these 2 questions. It ain't going to take long. But I think Dwayne Washington's name is written in ink, but they got some white out right there on side of it, though, because of what he did on that onside kick at the end of the season.
You think they still remember that?
Oh, hell yeah, they remember that.
Okay.
Because if Tony Jones come in and let's say he's a phenomenal special teams player and he can do everything Dwayne Washington does, and he pops in camp, then I think you're looking at something. But, I mean, that's a tall order, man, especially for a rookie, bro. But running back is one of the easier positions to learn. So if you did have a leg up with this situation, I think it would be there.
All right, let's go to our next question here. Scoob wants to know if there's a possibility that Rankins, is there a possible spot for Rankins on the team next year? What's your thoughts on that?
Drew Brees coming back?
That's right.
that's the underlying factor. If Drew Brees retires and we kick the can down the road on that $25 million we're gonna owe him, if he does retire, then I think they re-up everybody. I think Ramczyk gets a fat contract. I think Rankins definitely comes back because, I mean, to have those two guys and to be able to rotate in and out. And when is Malcolm Brown's contract up? That's the domino right there.
A couple more years. He got a couple more years left on his contract.
You got 2 more? I mean, are they voidable years? Can't get out of it?
No, I don't think they're voidable years, but I'm pretty sure that Mickey, if he wants to get from up under him, he can if he wanted to. But Malcolm Brown's contract is not a ball buster. I mean, it was a workable contract, and he's a true blue nose tackle. The rest of those guys are balanced guys.
24 million or so?
I don't think it's quite that much.
20 million, 18,
I don't think that's quite much. I can look it up, but I still like.
I mean, that's not a lot of money for 4 years.
And besides, I see the depth there defensively speaking, but I still wouldn't touch Malcolm Brown because Malcolm Brown is a true nose tackle. He's a true nose tackle, and he's one of the main reasons that the Saints running attack, the run defense is as good as what they are. Let's not take away. Remember, for many years, let me finish this. You remember, just like I remember, that your brother Tyler Davison was an ISO for many years down here.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here, man.
And the reason they've been trying to get him out of here for the longest. And when Malcolm Brown signed, he was one of the first ones that the Saints signed. Nobody even knew that he was looking at Malcolm Brown to sign, and he ultimately signed. Right. Now, this is a young defensive lineman, nose tackle with 2 Super Bowl rings with the New England Patriots. And he signed, and I absolutely love the fact that they did bring him back here because I think he brings so much to the team. And he was the severe upgrade over Tyler Davison, your older brother. But this is the thing that I'm bringing back that I will say is that at the end of the day, that's why I say he stays regardless of his contract. Go ahead, brother.
But I was saying, we seen what Rankins and Oyemata look like. I mean, we had the number 1 rush defense with them out there too, Q. I mean, you do remember that before he got hurt, right?
I know that, but I still say
the big thing with Rankins, I think they still can play. Like Oyemata to me is the versatile one. Rankins is more of a pass rusher that can stuff the rush. But Oyemata does it all, man. He's amazing. The thing to me is, does Rankins stay healthy? If he stays healthy,
that's why
Drew Brees retired. I think we will keep him. But if Drew Brees stays here, and he gets hurt, even if he missed a couple of games or something, and then he won all this money, after his contract is up, somebody else gonna wind up with him. That's kind of how I see it. I think they've already prepared themselves to make that decision and kind of let him go if things aren't favorable with Shy Tuttle. They got the dude Malcolm Roach, Tyler Stallworth's behind him. So I mean, we're still good at DN even without him. I mean, at D tackle even without him. But he's definitely a special player in my opinion. Just as special as Oyemata. He's just a little different.
Malcolm Brown has 2 years remaining on a 3-year contract. 3 years, $15 million, $3 million signing bonus, averaging $5 million a year. That's a steal for an impactful interior guy like that. He doesn't miss any time. He gets in there and he stuffs everything up, and he's a major portion of it. And like we had Sheldon Rankins and David Onyemata in there together at the same time. But I like the 3 pass rush situation in which 3 interior linemen switch out. Like you have Brown and Rankins, or Brown and Onyemata, and then you put in either Rankins and Onyemata, whoever doesn't start between Onyemata and Rankins, and then Shy Tuttle is there, then Taylor Stallworth is there, then you have other guys there, Mario was Jr., Marcus Hunt, whoever else that actually makes the team.
Mario might be out of here, man, because Marcus Hunt to me is better than him.
We'll see because his
He
impact
does
might
have
not be felt on the
versatility.
interior line. It could be felt elsewhere, like possibly at end because you're still opening at the end position. But yeah, I would definitely agree with you that
And if we bring in
Mario Edwards Jr.
Conley-
is looking kind of suspect at this point in time, man.
Yeah.
He could be another guy that can end up getting cut as well. So I mean, there's a lot of depth right there because a lot of cheap labor is there. I mean, seriously, a lot of cheap labor is there. Let me see if I can pull up Mario Edwards' contract because once you start going through guys, then the next person you're gonna look at contract wise will probably be Teron Armstead. But as long as Drew Brees is here, is Teron Armstead's here? Could we possibly see a scenario where the Saints could then kind of drop
Restructure Tyron?
Yeah, do it because he's done that before. Teron Armstead give him his money up front and kind of rework his deals and stuff like that. It could be possibly be something.
Just brought the Brinks trucks to his house instead of putting it on the check. That was all.
There you go. Back the Brinks up to him. Mario Edwards
Right.
Jr. Let's see here. Edwards is what, 3.2? Is that what we're talking about here? He didn't have a fat contract, but at the end of the day, I could see why the Saints would be looking to try to cut some money. But remember, they had an opportunity to release Mario Edwards last year, when he was hurt, but they stuck with him despite the fact, and he signed a 2-year deal with the Saints for 4.7. So he's averaging about 2.2. And last year was 900.
Oh wait, so he making $3 million this year though?
He making 2.2. He making 2.2 this year.
He might be out of here, man.
He making 2.2 this year. Now, if
the Saints do, they backload your contract. You don't play, you ain't getting that back part.
That's right. And then truth be told is that the Mario Edwards Jr. deal that he signed in 2019 with the team he carries a $3.2 million cap hit. Okay. Well, this year, and then the dead money on it, if it's about 895 G's. So he could be a cap casualty. And the fact that it was actually a 1-year deal that the Saints, it was actually a 1-year deal with the option for a second year. And then because the first year deal was the 2019 deal was, the out was in 2020, 1 year, 1.9 and 895. So they can get rid of him for and save $2 million toward the cap if they really wanted to. And wouldn't Mario Edwards Jr. be missed?
What they pay Morgan, the guy from Indianapolis. It'd be funny if his contract looked vaguely similar.
Marcus Hunt, give me a second, I'll look it up. But like we said, we knew about Mario Edwards Jr. signed that 4-year deal, that he's a tweener option for the Saints. So the Saints kind of looking at him with an opportunity to do a little bit of both. But they're so deep everywhere else. He could have not made the team last year, to be quite honest with you. He could have not have made the team last year. And he was hurt for a long period of time, and he could have got cut last year, to be honest with you. 1 year, $1 million contract is what Marcus Hunt signed, DC.
Okay.
So I still say the same thing I said before, man. Is that we still, as a team, if they're looking to make some money moves and they're trying to free up money, there are guys, you're looking at Nick Easton, he's number 1 guy on the list right now. The chopping block, then Patrick Robinson's the next guy you can look at, and then you look at Mario Edwards Jr.
Mario. Hey, with all of that and the money that we already have, I don't know what we signed that offensive lineman for today. I mean, I wonder if that could be enough to get Clowney. Maybe that's where the rumors are coming from. We're gonna release Nick Easton and get that $5 million on top of what we already got, and you could see some moves with one of these other guys walking, or maybe Mario Edwards is already the guy, and they're not worrying about Patrick Robinson or bringing Eli Apple back and that whole thing. So it's gonna be interesting, man. And the one thing I could tell you that I do know is always watching the Saints. If they doing all this right now, they ain't finished. We always make moves at the last minute, so there's still some more stuff down the pipe coming.
No doubt about it. And it's proof positive, man. On Wednesday, we had a signing of an offensive lineman here to keep doing it. So there's definitely something else going on here. Freeing up this money, getting ready to release Nick Easton. So that's coming real soon. And the Saints have definitely got something up their sleeves. And when you talk about another cheap-ass player no disrespect, or a cap-friendly player, but we're talking about another guy that could be an impactful veteran that's coming on this team. So it's something coming here. Where there's smoke, there is fire. And big ups to the family members chiming in here as well. Let me see here. Hold on, I just seen Curtis Miller. Who that to you, Curtis? Good to see your family. Curtis Miller from Plano, Texas. All right. Plano, Texas is in the building. We got a lot of people chiming in. Seal Fane is from Paris. Paris, France is in the building as well. So we always have extended family members. Yeah, all around. We had Iceland. We got Paris in the building. We had Alaska.
Australia too, right?
We had Australia. We had Iceland. We had the Great Saints Think Tank knows no limits family. We all over it. And obviously no borders either. So, I mean, the Great Saints Think Tank continues to continue to grow. But yeah, that's a great statement too, coming in from Plano, Texas. Kevin Conley says, love the real info. You fellows kick the Great Saints Think Tank is dope as heck. Thank you, fellow. Thank you, Kevin, for that family. Much love to you, and who that to you as well. So, DC, we about to off stream. You got any more comments you want to lay in before we cut the stream? I'll give you last word.
Yeah, man. I thought we had one more question. I guess you're gonna leave our man hanging, though, right?
Okay, hold on. Didn't I ask that other question? I must have.
I thought you told me we had two. You missed somebody.
Must have. Hold on.
I started talking about Winston and stole some time.
Okay, Ramsey had one. Thank you for that, DC. DC, he asked me, which team on our schedule do you think is a trap game this year?
Ooh, which team is a trap game? I already spoke about this, but I'm speaking left field, man. Maybe
that's
I'm looking into the future.
Gentile,
but they did right in our division. And when I say it, everybody look at me crazy. But I think Carolina, I think, will wind up being a trap game, and I think it's going to catch us by surprise and be a little more difficult than we expected. Only because they got two people over there that know our offensive system really well. So I think it might potentially give us some problems. I mean, we see Atlanta. Atlanta ain't got the best defense, but they've been playing us for a while, and they study us like hell. Atlanta gives us problems from time to time because they've recognized and found our tendencies. Not that we can't beat them, but sometimes we roll in there, especially after we blew them out another game, and we fall for the okie doke. I think Carolina this year might be that team that we not fully up to play, and they may catch us by surprise.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Our trap game I was looking at, as well, the Atlanta series where we play them twice in 3 weeks is really
Denver game too is scary one to me.
Yeah, it's something about that. You playing Atlanta in twice in 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks is something about that's not right to me. And I'm hoping that we don't have a lapse in play because we're playing this team.
We've done that. We've done that before and beat them both times. I think the last time we did that was the year before last, and I think we beat them both games.
Yeah, I know, but this last year, the fact that the Saints were able to go and they just lost, they fell out of the matchup to them the first time around wasn't even in there, and then the second time around they could have beat them a lot worse than what they did. But like I said, you talking about a fierce competitor in Atlanta, and we don't want to overlook anybody. That's what I'm talking about. You don't want to overlook anybody. And Atlanta is a team which I don't think they'll be better than Tampa Bay and possibly not better than Carolina. So, but still in all, they have the propensity to play hard in certain games, and they always ratchet up their level of playing when they take on the Saints. So I'm kind of leery of playing the Falcons twice in 3 weeks. So I kind of keep my eye on that portion of the schedule. Now, we know about the difficult games, going to Denver to play in altitude up there in Mile High. That's another difficult scenario. Man.
Somebody say, yeah, I'm looking at you crazy.
So, I mean, it's a part of that, man. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But, okay, let's see. Some more family. Just make sure everybody got this. J. Hunt Barrett says, I know he doesn't fit our locker room, but AB would be an asset to the Saints. He said, but would AB be an asset to the Saints? I think we could go undefeated with that kind of talent, but he's super risky. I don't think we need Antonio Brown. Well, you got a talented weapon like Emmanuel Sanders, and you got all these other. You got Taysom Hill as your slot man.
It's too much at that point.
He's only going to cause problems. I mean, because you got to look
he's
at
it. He's not going to get the ball like he wants to.
Right, he's not going to get the ball. He's not going to get the ball. It's just too many. Because you got to look at it. Your top 3 wide receivers is Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and then your third is Taysom Hill. That's 3 wide, and those guys are going to see the field a lot because the Saints going to have a lot of multiple wide receiver packages. You see Alvin Kamara out there; he's going to want the ball. So, and then Jared Cooks is going to be available. So, I don't anticipate, if they did bring Antonio Brown on the team, that he's not going to get the ball that much. Now, it would be fun to watch it on Madden, but as far as him getting the ball, he's not that type of guy that's just going to be content with catching 3 passes a game and 1 pass another game. He's going to kick up some dust because he wants to be the man. So I don't see Antonio Brown.
He got to get back to living that lifestyle and making that money. And I think he already failed the test with Sean Payton when we brought him in for the interview. They kind of wanted to see where his head was at, see if he was humble and if he could come in and play a role. Because, I mean, you've been out of football, man. You had all these – nobody's ever out of football and just comes back in and they just, okay, we're going to build the offense around you. And it ain't because he's not talented enough to do so. It's just mentally they want to see if you can handle getting back to where you was at, or are you going to go off the rails again? So they're going to slowly bring you along, and I don't really think Antonio Brown wants that. So I don't see him being here. But, man, you looking at me crazy about Carolina. Tell y'all to see it happen, though. Gotta throw that in there. And Tampa Bay got all the pressure, dude. So Carolina ain't got no pressure. Atlanta don't have no pressure.
Nope.
Tampa Bay got more pressure than us.
Right.
So I think they're going to be the biggest disappointment out of everybody. They're going to win games, but they're going to be the biggest disappointment out of everybody.
You're absolutely right, DC. And I've said that the prior shows that Tampa has all the pressure because of Tom Brady and the fact that the Super Bowl is in Tampa this year. That's 2 things right there. That's enough. I mean, you could throw all the other stuff.
Gronkowski, he got T-shirts on Tampa Brady, and all this,
and all this nonsense. But yes, that's true. They are holding the pressure, and the Saints don't have to do is play football. And if the Saints don't really feel much pressure, Carolina, who's nobody is anticipating much out of Carolina or Atlanta, so they'll play freely. Even though Atlanta has a lot of pressure on them because their coach and general manager will be fired if they don't produce this year, and they have done some stuff through the draft and through the free agency cycle that I still don't believe that was enough to help them compete, but we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes, and that's why we play the games.
Wait, hold up. You changing your standpoint, Max? I remember last time we had this conversation.
No, I'm not standing. I still see
You sound like a little Tom Brady fan a little bit, bro.
No. Tom Brady is who Tom Brady is, and they're gonna bring the offense. Like Brandon Marshall said, that's one of the few things that he got right on that rant, from the Saints some time ago. But Tampa Bay.
What did he say about Tom Brady?
He said that Tampa Bay is going to be that they're going to win games. They're going to win the NFC South and all that kind of stuff. And he was saying that because of the fact that they were going to add a New England system. They were going to bring large components of New England system to Tampa Bay, which would make sense because you would want Tom Brady to be comfortable running the ball. And Bruce Arians can do that. Bruce Arians can make it a little bit flexible, put a Tampa Bay spin on it for Tom Brady, and make sure that the learning curve is not as curvy as it needs to be for them to start winning games. But the pressure is definitely on them to do something. And they're still talented. Gronkowski's there, Evans, and all that other kind of old stuff. Right. So the pressure is definitely on them because of Tom Brady, Gronkowski, the fact that the Super Bowl is there. And if they flop, it's going to be astronomical. But the chances are with that talent and the great coaching staff they have, they're going to be competitive. I just don't see them better than the Saints.
We're forgetting one major thing that Tom Brady has not brought with him, and he can't bring it with him because of all the stuff that's going on. Maybe if he had the full off season, he could have implemented some of those military tactics he learned from Belichick. They're not bringing that culture with him, man. And I think that is a big component of what got Tom Brady 6 rings. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. But in my opinion, you put him on another team, you're not going to convince me that he just automatically would have won 6 rings if he wasn't over there in New England with Belichick with that whole setup like they have. And maybe Tom Brady probably won a Super Bowl or two or something somewhere else. But I don't feel like he's Michael Jordan, man. I don't think he wins 6 rings on any other organization in the NFL. I don't see that.
Well,
so
if
that culture not coming with him, man. I'm telling you, that's all count for some wins.
Truth be told, if Jameis Winston played under control better last year, Tampa Bay would have been at least a 10 win team last year.
Well, we watching the games when they had to score 30 points.
I'm
man.
still saying
nothing.
They've been climbing leaps and bounds. This is a desperation year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be able to then move up that range. What do you think it is when you swing for the fences for Tom Brady and then get Gronkowski to add to a fantastic offense as well? They've added additions to the defense as well. They swung for the fences. This is a desperate team. And they're not the only one desperate. Atlanta, in my opinion, is one of the most desperate teams in the NFC South.
They're more desperate than me.
Exactly, because at least you know that Bruce Arians has some room if something goes awry, that he has multiple years. Thomas Dimitrikov, or whatever his face is, he does not have it, and neither does the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. If they flop and fail, they're fired this year. They should have been fired last year, in my opinion, but they allowed them to stick around for one more season to see what they're going to do. So we'll see exactly how it shapes up. DC, let me ask you this. Kevin's got a final question from the chat here. We're going to ask this one. That'll be it. If we go out in the first round again, Q.
Don't say that.
Do Sean Payton?
We can't even bring that affirmation over here, man.
It's just Kevin wants to know if we go out in the first round again, Q, do Sean Payton keep his job? The answer to that question is yes, he does keep his job. But he does keep his job, but he will then start to be labeled as a coach that can't win anymore, can't win the big game no more. That's what's going to start happening, because you went through all the excuses that you possibly can do. We at the point where we saying no excuses. In order to be at the point where we yelling for no excuses, we must have exhausted pretty much all of the excuses. The excuses is the refs cheating on us. The excuses is that the defensive coordinator called a dumb play at the end of the game. The excuses, this, that, and the third, all this other stuff. We done ran out all the excuses. That's why the fan base and the Great Saints think tanks are at no excuse level right now. There is no more excuses. So to say that he has to get this done, that's why I was saying it's a desperation there. That's why I was saying about Sean Payton running the ball. It's a part of that spiel. It's a part of that mentality, is that he realized that if you can't get that together this year with Drew Brees, who's telling you that he's going to head on to the analyst chair after this year, I don't believe it, but this is what they're telling you. So we'll go with what they're telling you just for this example. But if that is indeed the case, then you don't have any room for error anymore. Your room for error is exhausted, which means that you're going to have to commit to running the ball and being balanced and doing the right thing. There is no more of this other stuff, and we're not accepting excuses. He keeps his job, but he will have a stigma on him now that he is a guy that can't win the big game. He can't win in the playoffs anymore. And then that will carry on until he can be able to fix it. And I think that's something that he didn't have on him, a title that he didn't have on him, and I don't think he wants that attached to him. So if you don't win with Drew now, how do you think people will assume that you will win with Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill in the future? If you can't win with Drew now, how do we think you're going to win with Jameis or any other quarterback, Taysom Hill, in the future? You got to do what it takes right now, and I think he does. DC, what you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right, but I think if we do go out in the first round, which I hate to say because I don't want that to happen, and I believe words are powerful, but I think Sean Payton would basically fire himself at some point because the noise from ESPN, from the players affirming what Brandon Marshall said, from Saints people, it would be so loud that there would be so much pressure going into that next season that it would either cause a meltdown or he would redeem himself and, do it big. That second year is when it would happen. But the process would start in that first year. If they go out in the first round again, after all the stuff we've been through, man, we're going to be labeled the Buffalo Bills minus making it to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be a lot of pressure, man. And there ain't nobody gonna be picking us no more. We will become a laughing stock if this happens. They go out in the first round again, especially with this team being better than the team where they so-called cheated us and all this other stuff. I mean, you don't have no room for error.
No more room.
They're not putting a ton of pressure on us right now, but if that happens,
don't win. Watch what happens.
That next year, be a laughing stock, man. It would be a joke.
Absolutely, 100% true. Absolutely 100% true.
And then they would have to fire him. They would give him one more season, and if we could not go out in the first round the next season. But if they just fizzle out that next season, he fired. Ms. Benson would have to do it because it really wouldn't be her. It would be the people speaking to the point where you got to get rid of them. And who knows how the players maybe turn depending on how it happens, and not really taking to, his stuff anymore. So I don't want to see that happening, but that's the horror story that I see in the way that could go if we go out in the first round again. Brother Paul probably would say it's very possible.
Brother Paul says, he just commented, matter of fact, he says, yeah, remember Jim Moore quit after 10 years. Sean Payton need to watch out for that. See, the historians on this game. Uncle Paul is on the game.
Yeah, I told you. Sean Payton would be that it would probably,
well, you know what,
he's absolutely right. Sean Payton would resign. They would tell him they're going to fire him, and he would resign just to save face. Uncle Paul is absolutely right, bro.
I know he usually is.
It would be a resignation. They wouldn't, because he got too much respect and pride to just fire him. But they definitely are forcing him to resign.
Yeah, it's getting, and people got to also remember too. It's been since 2009 since the Saints won the Super Bowl. That's over 10. That's 10 years. I mean, over 10 years that the Saints have not been back to the Super Bowl. I mean, usually, if in other places you would catch slack from that. I mean, there was a Peterson just a few years ago catching hell from the Philly fans, and he was coming off a couple of years ago from getting the Super Bowl, and he's catching. So I mean, that's supposed to buy you a certain amount of time. In New Orleans, is bought Sean Payton 10 years.
We more loyal here, man, than a lot of other
we are. That's why we gave him double digits on what most people do. Now it's coming to bear. You have to win in the time with this stacked and loaded team. And I think this is the mentality. We're not saying anything that Coach Payton and the rest of the administration don't know. When you brought Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins on this team, when you conducted that very skillful and masterful draft and the undrafted process, which was ranked 4th or 5th best undrafted class in the NFL compared to the rest of the teams. And then you also admit to the fact that you're bringing in all of these free agents who fit some of the key weaknesses that you need to clean up on. It is absolutely sterling that this is definitely a year in which they have to really take it to the next level. Anything else is will destroy a lot of stuff. I don't think it tarnishes his reputation here, but what it does do is it's just going to start showing that people, I mean, in terms of his reputation in terms of what he's done over the years, but going forward, he'll gain a reputation as a coach who can't get it done, despite having a stacked team. This is the best team that I've ever seen the Saints have. And if you put Everson Griffin or Jadeveon Clowney or Marcus Golden or Clay Matthews onto this team, at this point, this is the best team, best, hands down, the best offense the Saints have ever going to field on paper. Now, they haven't performed yet, but granted, we have a full regular season and we'll be able to see to the levels this team can go. That's a whole nother thing. But on paper, this team is fixed a lot of its key issues on offense. They are poised for something huge. The defense just needs a pass rusher, a veteran pass rusher, and maybe a veteran defensive back to add on in there. And then those two things, just two things, that's within the power of the team to fix now, which I think they'll do. Notice that they're being really proactive over the last several weeks of adding talent to the team. I've said this early in the show, and I've said this throughout the week. It's the fact that the Saints are signing these guys, and people are not respecting Chiquillo, Ty Montgomery, Hurst and these guys. These guys are key role players, especially on the Saints defense, because they fit a need, a major need. Like I said about Chiquillo, don't be surprised if Chiquillo takes Craig Robertson's spot. I mean, don't be surprised because they're looking for a guy that could play. Especially,
I like Craig, man.
Don't be surprised. I'm telling you, don't be surprised that Ty
He brings a lot of
Montgomery.
energy, though. I don't think Chiquillo can replace that.
Chiquillo is a high energy player. Look at his footage and how he plays. He plays with his hair on fire. He's a guy that had the speed at component. Remember, Craig doesn't have that speed, and the Saints been trying to get rid of Craig Robertson since the second year they brought him here. When they started realizing that he wasn't good in coverage. That's when they started adding all these linebackers to try to replace him. They've been trying to get rid of Craig Robertson. So Chiquillo could be that problem for Craig. And then you look at, like I was saying about Ty Montgomery and Tony Jones Jr. for Dwayne Washington. And then you look at the other end. So it's different. These players that they're bringing on the team are low cost, very solid role players that do the weakness. Well, the Saints need a solid slot man. They have Taysom Hill there they could bring. I mean, they are so talented. We went all over this, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, there is no excuse why the Saints should not have a deep playoff run into the Super Bowl. Bottom line. And Sean Payton will start feeling this in more and so as we go on. Van Ward, who that to you, Van? Van says, Q, you don't think that puts pressure on us by having so much talent? No, I don't think it puts pressure on us for having so much talent. What I do think is that the Saints are such an offensive juggernaut that you look at what they were playing with last year. What they were playing with last year was Jared Cook, Elvin Kamara, and Mike Thomas. That was the weapons that Drew was moving the ball to. And 13-3 last year with limited weapons. They wouldn't get any production out of Traquan Smith or Michael Ted Ginn Jr. They wouldn't have no production out of them guys. So, I mean, but you got Emmanuel Sanders and the rest of these. I mean, there's no pressure. This is going to be a free play. It's going to be easy for the Saints. They're going to move the ball around, and it's going to be like it was years ago when the Saints, and I'm not talking about double-digit years, but 5 or 6 years ago when the Saints could spread, when Drew Brees could turn around and spread the ball around and have 4 or 5 guys have 5 catches in one game. You see what I'm saying? That's what type of wide open offense this is going to be. Well, he'll always have a wide open man to throw to. That's what kind of stuff. And I don't see that as pressure for the Saints. Now, if you want to talk about pressure, the pressure tied to Sean Payton winning in the playoffs. Now, there is pressure for the Saints to win in the playoffs. No doubt about that. I'm talking merely about the regular season because the Saints have a mentality where they've mastered the regular season. They're going to go and handle business. They're going to take care of business, 12, 13, 14 wins. I can see that. But when it comes down to the playoffs, that's when the pressure comes. And guys like Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins, who were brought in because of that reason, who are guys that are very familiar with the playoffs that can help the team go through that and learn and not make as many miscues. So that's a part of it right there that's alleviating the pressure. So definitely pressure in the playoffs because the Saints have failed miserably over the last several seasons there. Thank you for the question, Van.
I think that's the biggest thing we was missing. If you remember, our offense always stalled out in the playoffs. We were always looking for that other receiver. And for the last 3 years, we never found him. It was always Alvin Kamara. Jared Cook played all right in the playoffs. He didn't really blow my doors away to me. It's Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, and they be doubling, trying to triple team, rolling all the covers to Michael Thomas. So
I know, it's crazy.
Breeze go back there, he looks. It's like, okay, he's not open.
He was double triple team majority of the season last year, DC, and he still broke the single season record.
Right. So it's like it's like we kept looking for that other guy, man, and we never could get him.
No, he
now we got him.
We got him.
So I think that right there buys us enough to get out of first round. I don't think we're gonna see one of these stale Saints offenses once we hit the playoffs. And I always talked about how Sean Payton would be holding plays for the playoffs and all of this, and I think he always does that. But I think last year and maybe the year before last as well, we just didn't have the personnel to kind of expand and open stuff up, as well as we don't know what Drew Brees' health situation was with his thumb. It's just a lot of dynamics, man. But it all sounds like excuses. And these are truths, but nobody ain't gonna want to hear none of that. They got to put up or shut up, perform this year. And like I was saying, and have a conversation with some other friends. What if we would have let Taysom Hill complete that drive in Minnesota?
The Saints would have won the game.
Start for the game, but we just let him finish that drive. And they said, "Oh, you can't do that. You got to win and die with Drew Brees." And I was like, "Man,
you got to go.
All of that's out the window, bro. Yeah. It's the playoffs. It's about winning a game. The coach who does the smartest thing and puts his ego aside generally wins the playoffs. Playoffs are usually won with making the best decision, the most efficient decisions. The most efficient teams are the ones that win the playoffs. They do what they know works.
Right.
And they keep hitting you over the head with the same thing that they know works.
Right.
That's who wins.
That's who wins.
In the playoffs.
And doesn't commit that many injuries. I mean, not miscues. No mistakes, no miscues. Right. They let you beat yourself, and that's the part of the playoff football
structure. Games be boring in the beginning almost because coaches be so
stiff,
wise, and efficient with how they gonna call their play.
Yeah, very conservative in the beginning, but then as things get going, they be able to loosen up the playbook. But a lot of the gimmick or the gambling players are limited in the playoffs. You don't see that many 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 reverses. In the playoffs, it's just not how playoffs, and that's why you got your ass marched out of there last year. You were violating the rules of good coaching.
Man, that's crazy.
You know, so I mean, there is no excuse for that sort of thing. LaShawn Singleton, thank you, LaShawn. Who that to you, baby? Good to see you, LaShawn. It's been a while. Hope you're doing good too. Much love to you. Good to see LaShawn Singleton in the chat tonight. Delcom28, what up, fam? Good to see you too. I ain't seen you in a minute, fam. Good to see some of the family members chiming in the live stream. Metalhead, I see your family as well. Big ups to you. Good to see you, Metalhead. Diehard Saints fan, who that to you, says, damn, Big Q still live. I got off an hour ago to watch OVL TV show, and I'm back. All right, good to see you back in the family. Paul, that's how we are, man, with the Great Saints think tank.
We've been getting the show been going on for like the last 30 minutes.
But that's part of it. DC, any closing comments, man, before we shut the stream off?
I think we got it all today, man. Got to leave some meat on the bone for the next show.
Which will be Saturday, family. We'll have a Saturday show at 5 o'clock Central Time, as usual, family. Of course, like I said, we'll go over the roster once again, and we'll try to break down the roster from 90 to 53. I'll give you my thought process on it. And we'll see if DC could chime in Saturday as well, and we'll see about that as well. So, man, it's DC, we appreciate your family for chiming in, man. Much love to you, and thank you, brother, for chiming in with the Great Saints Think Tank. A lot of family members in the building are ever grateful for your wealth of Saints knowledge. Thank you very much.
I'm grateful for them, man, and appreciate listening to my rants and raves.
No doubt about it. All right, my friend, well, you have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Who that?
You too, my brother. All right, Saints family.
That's DC right there chiming in. And, you know, DC is one of the guys, man. And like we said, been doing the Sports Coma for over 5 years. DC was there at the Genesis. So he comes through. He always listens. So don't think that he's not on the show. He listens to every show, and he follows the show. He comments ever so rarely, but he says he still enjoys watching the show. Who that to you, Big Smoke Dog, MJ504 Nola in the building. What up, family? We talked about Hurst earlier today. That's Smoke Dog. You might have to rewind the show as we getting close to it. So as we get close to the show, I just want to shout out to family members for all that you do. And thank you guys for chiming in and spending 3.5 hours on this Wednesday night, as I'm just shy of 10 o'clock. But we have some great Saints comments, some great commentary. Uncle Paulie called in earlier today, gave some great commentary. Of course, DC chimed in. We had him scheduled to come on tonight and drop some knowledge. Good to see DC on the show as well. He contributes on the TSC Q&A segments that we have on Patreon. That's only available to the Patreon and YouTube members. Get the unreleased content that's only private to those people. So I'd like to thank DC for chiming in on it as well. And of course, the store platform is our platform store is the Pro Shop, where you'll find Pro Apparel. And there are over 30 different designs, 35 different designs that are available at the Pro Shop. You can feel free to go there and check it out. The link is in the description section below, and you can go there and check out the latest gear at the Pro Shop. as well. We've the family members have been doing some virtual work, and we have another merch shop that'll be coming online. It's of course tied to Etsy, where you can be able to order on it from our Etsy page. We've been at an Etsy page from 2018. We just hadn't done any work, and then recently I just kind of commissioned the work to be done to kind of add a secondary platform store as well. Well, we have more of the same coffee mugs, shirts, and some different things. They're actually Sports Coma gaiters, or the things you kind of put up around your neck and all this kind of stuff. People know what a gaiter is. We have some of those available at the Pro Shop. We'll make sure we provide the link in the description section if you guys are interested in going to the platform. Remember, 15% off with the code Stay Strong. It helps out the platform, and it helps us to continue to give in powerful content. Also, hold on, that's not the right one. Much love, big ups to Bob Rose there. But anyway, the Pro Radio is available on Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma. You can listen to all the audio streams from the show, The Sports Coma, Big Q and the Guys, Pelican Post Game Report, Ring King, Boxing World, and Tough Tiger Talk are all available in their audio formats at Spreaker.com. Spreaker, that's SPERKER.com/The Sports Coma. You can listen to dozens of shows from all over, from the Sports Coma, Pelican Post Report, Ring Kings, Boxing World, and Tough Tiger Talk are all available at that level. And then, of course, order for you to become a member of, to watch a lot of the unreleased content that we have. You get access to videos before everybody else do, before they're released. And of course, there are other content that never is released, like our TSC Q&A live show we do every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, which we cover a lot of interesting topics as well. We also promote that you get on the show. You can actually get on the show and we have dialogue or whatnot. It's a little smaller, but it's a little personable, and that's why I like it. It's for our Patreon members. So if you're interested in joining it, go to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Also, you have access to the other show that is done called On Cue with Big Q, that's available on patreon.com, on our Patreon page, available to listeners, which is On Cue with Big Q, which is a entertainment, politic, and sports show which cover topics and situations outside of the sports arena that we cover here, the Saints and Pelicans, stuff like that. On Cue with Big Q is a real show. We talk about a lot of real stuff on that show, and there are several episodes available. If you sign up for patreon.com, you can actually listen to a lot of the content for On Cue with Big Q. So if you guys are interested in that, check out patreon.com/the PRO Media Network for more information. And also, family, thank y'all for joining us tonight on the PRO Media Network. Over 3 hours, almost 4 hours of middle of the week Saints talk. Of course, we'll be back Saturday at 5 p.m. for this for the Sports Coma Live edition, Saturday edition. You'll have a few more people join us. DC will be back. We'll try to break down a 90-man roster. We'll cover some more Saints-related news. We'll also take calls. We'll open up the phone lines and take calls from you, so you can feel free to get on that. So make sure you understand that. Put that, kind of lock that into your phone and get your questions ready or get your comments ready so that you can get on the show live and be heard throughout the Great Saints Think Tank and be on the show. So you can be able to do that as well and chime in. Also, let the family members know you can feel free to go to whothatdaily.com. That's right, the whothatdaily.com is the sports is on the PRO Media Network headquartered platform. Is the website where you see a lot of the stories, a lot of the videos or whatnot, and a lot of stuff like that there. If you're interested in being a contributor on the whothatdaily.com, feel free to hit up the Pro Media Network at gmail.com and leave a email saying that I want to be a contributor and somebody to get back to you. I don't handle that, somebody else does. And you'll have to give a brief description of your skills and abilities if you want to be able to contribute. But only serious takers will be taken and considered for the contributor job. It's a non-paying job for several contributors to be on the Pro Media Network platform, which is tied to the website and what's on and so forth. So if you're interested in that, the PRO Media Network at gmail.com is the email, and put in the subject contributor opportunity, and then list your name, where you're from, and then of course your credentials. And like I said, only serious people will be considered for that position. Saints, Pelicans, boxing, entertainment, stuff like that will be considered. It's not paying, it's non-paying, but it's an interesting opportunity for those who want to get more hands-on approach and work more with the platform. So it's a good opportunity. So anyway, I'd like to thank all you guys for chiming in tonight on the show. Much love to you. Also, Sunday, just to let you know of that the Sundays, every Sundays now, remember at 12 o'clock. Sunday, we got started a little late because we had some computer issues. Since then, we done had some computer stuff done, and had people came and worked on the Wi-Fi. We had some problems with wires and all that. The man came out, he was on the damn roof for 4 hours, 5 hours. I thought he was going out, and man knocked on the door. It looked like somebody poured a bucket of water on top of his head. He was so hot. But he went outside, changed some lines, and as you can see, our internet's a lot better. So sometimes that happens. So we had some work done on that. So Sunday, we'll have a Madden Live, another Madden simulation like last Sunday. And this time around, week 2 will be the Saints versus the Raiders. Remember, this is updated rosters with all the latest teams. Emmanuel Sanders, all of them on there. The Raiders people on there, draft picks and all. It'll be the week 2 simulation. Last week, the Saints bust Tampa Bay's ass. This week, in a simulation on Sunday at 12 o'clock, the Saints start up against the Los Angeles Raiders. So we'll be interested to see how that shakes as well. So be looking out for that from our Madden heads. And of course, Saturday, our show at 5 p.m. We'll let you know. And of course, we'll be working on some video and content to be released through this week, rest of this week, into next week, breaking down the rooms, the rooms of the different teams. Those will be videos we release. Also, other specialized videos we do, like how the Saints are the Saints a top 10 defense this year. We'll have more content similar to that about the Saints and stuff built around different topics that really do well. So we'll talk about this well. So I'd like to thank all y'all for joining us today from LaShawn says, I just don't understand why haven't I been getting my notifications from guys. Big Q probably blocked me. I don't know. It's weird. That's on YouTube. LaShawn, YouTube is very weird. They don't necessarily always get your notifications. That's why they tell you subscribe, hit the subscribe button and a notification button as well. They want you to hit both of those because one was supposed to fix the fact that people wasn't getting their notifications. So they brought in the notification button to make sure you get it. But anyway, thank you guys for chiming in tonight on the show. Much love to you guys. Be safe out there. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And who that to you?
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is Saints Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma.